All right, folks, it's 5:30. We're going to get started on Wednesday, July 22nd, traffic and parking meeting. With me today, I have Commissioner, Department of Transportation Mobility, Stephen Raleigh, Assistant Director, Todd Corain. I also have District 2 Councilor Rob Balata, who's on Zoom, who'll be with us. And with me visiting us today is District 1 City Councilor Tony Economo, District 3 City Councilor John Frizzolo. I also have Assistant Clerk and FAM. We always get started with the attendance. We could do the attendance.
Yes, to the Chair, Councilor Bilada. Councilor Bilada?
Yes, here.
Yes, we're just doing roll call, thank you. Councilor Ojeda and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Here. All right, we start with the approval of the minutes for June 24th meeting.
Okay, Councilor Bilada,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. And if Clerk Pham, if you want to just kind of make the announcement on the virtual attendee call-in information.
Yes, to the Chair. So one, virtual attendees calling information pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, and in order to ensure active public engagement, the City of Worcester currently allows for both in-person and remote participation at all City Council and Standing Committee meetings. To partake in a meeting, you may attend a meeting in person. You can also join via Zoom or dial the following line as indicated. You can find the Zoom link on the city's website. So the phone number for the Traffic and Parking Committee meeting is 1-646-828-7666, and the access code is 161-411-9888. And if you're joining via Zoom or if you're calling in, we ask that when the item that you want to speak on is being heard, you use the raise hand function. If you're calling in, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We always start with the handicap parking petitions, and the first one is 3A. Mallory Nero requests installation of handicap parking space at 72 Richland Street. Is anybody here for that? Name and residence, please.
Mallory Nero.
This one. Yeah.
Mallory Nero, in 72 Richland Street.
Yes. Go ahead. We want to share.
My
with-
daughter is autistic and she is an eloper. So I wanted to get a space on the side of the street that's our house so she doesn't bolt across the street. She sees my car, goes to the car. Don't want it on the other side of the street because people go 90 down it.
Gotcha. That's it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
I'm here just to, it's a supporter,
Very good.
and that wherever it's put on the Richland Street side would be fine.
All right.
I think putting it across the street would be a problem, only because school signs are over there also for the street, so there'd be a lot of rearranging that would have to be done. So I think putting it on the even side of the street would be suitable.
Thank you. Does anybody on Zoom want to speak on this petition?
To the Chair, there's no one raising their hands.
Any of my colleagues? Commissioner Raleigh?
Mr. Chair, so this is a suitable space, and we do have the copy of the placard. The one thing I did want to note is, and I know the petitioner knows this, is that the even side is the winter parking ban. It's a declared parking ban, so not a problem when there's not a winter ban that's declared, but during an actual declared ban, the space won't be available
Yeah.
during those periods of time. So our recommendation is to approve.
To the Chair, there's one person who should just raise their hands on Zoom. I will go ahead and recognize them. To Speaker Leocadia Vasquez.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Yeah, I request one parking space, handicap parking space on 151 Charlotte
Yeah, no,
Street.
she's, sorry. Lakedia, we're going to be next with you next. She's speaking on a different petition, stuff like that.
Okay, all
So
right.
we'll be right, Lakedia will be right with you because you're next.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no problem. First, we just got to approve this item, roll call.
Counselor Bilada,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. You're all set.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Mr.
All right, now we'll go to 3B. Locadia Vasquez requests installation of a handicap parking space in the vicinity of Iglesia de Dios Pentecostal located at 151 Chandler Street. Go ahead, Locadia, you can speak now.
Okay, hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. I request that parking space in front of the church because we have a couple of handicapped people coming in, but that had the play, but we have a special case that is when we, one of our musicians who lost his both legs. So, and either that is a public street, but it is a chain that on Sunday when he come over, so he can have the space available for him, and it's easy for him to get in on the church, and he don't have a lot of trouble. And the first time he come to church, he even fell because he had to park in, far from the church and trying to get in the wheelchair. So I think it would be nice if you guys can approve that for him. And we appreciate it. And all the church, we appreciate it too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak on that item? Is anybody else on Zoom?
To the chair, there's no one else raising their hands.
Does any of my colleagues want to speak on this item? Commissioner Rowley.
Mr. Chair, so our recommendation is to approve. This location, however, it is in a permanent winter parking ban, so I just wanted to state that for the record. So that means there's no overnight parking that would be allowed during the winter months, but it's unlikely that there would be usage during those time periods. So while we typically try to avoid that, in this case, given the special use, we do recommend approval.
Thank you. So we're going to move to approve the item. Roll call.
Counselor Bilada,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. All right, moving on to crosswalk and lighted crosswalk system petitions. 4A, Councilor Robert Balada requests installation of a rapid flashing beacon on Elm Street at its intersection with Maple Street. Anybody here speak on this item? Councilor Balada?
Yes, I know, the reason I had filed this back in February was after hearing, our conversation that we had about the property on the corner of Elm and Chestnut that's getting renovated. So I thought this, anticipating the added density that's going to be happening downtown and that the city's pushing for, I thought it would be wise to try to get ahead of it and try and improve a rapid flashing beacon here. There is also a daycare center that's in the area that also during the summer, there's, if you see in the picture, there's to the upper left corner of the picture, there's a grass area. That's where the children from the daycare center, play during the warmer months. So I thought it would be trying to get a crosswalk here or what rapid flashing. And I believe, as it says, there is a block being converted to two-way travel this summer. So I think it would be really wise to get ahead of improving pedestrian safety in that area.
Thank you, Commissioner Rowley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. If I could, through you to the council, I just wanted to try to confirm the intent here as far as the location. Are you looking for a new crosswalk going across Elm Street, or was this thought of as addressing the existing crosswalk that kind of goes across the Elm Maple connector?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Commissioner. No, it would be a new crosswalk going across Elm from north to south. So going across Elm, not that current one that's going across Elm Maple.
Okay, so I think my recommendation would be, we're actually in the process of, I think as the commission knows, this street is actually being converted to two-way. That item passed last night, I believe. And as part of that, we've initiated a design process where we'll be looking at the pedestrian crossing. So maybe the right thing to do is to hold this item for right now. We certainly understand the intent behind it, but I just want to sort of figure out where the best place that is through the design process before we actually go and approve something.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
Sounds good. Move to hold the item. Roll call.
Counselor Bilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. Okay, moving on to 4B. Shauna Gaffney requests installation of crosswalk and lighted crosswalk signage at the bus stop located at 150 Blackstone River Road. Anybody here to speak on this item? I think Counselor Pizzolo wants to speak on this item? Nope. 4B? It's on here. You need to speak on it.
Mr. Chairman, if the petitioner's not here, I read what the Commissioner of Traffic and Mobility requests, and I'm in agreement with that.
All right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Raleigh?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so this is a location, where there are WRTA bus stops and some large employers nearby, and it's a difficult street to cross because traffic's coming off the highway at a pretty high rate of speed. And there's a bit of a corner uphill here from the bus stop location. So they're looking for improvements to help them safely cross the street. We do agree that crosswalk is appropriate here. It should be to the north of the intersection near the bus stops to get enough sight distance. But because there's no connecting sidewalks in the area, we actually have to construct a little bit of sidewalk too. It's not enough to just paint the crosswalk. We need to actually have a safe place for people to walk. So we are asking that the order be approved, but recognize that included in that need to be ADA and ProWide compliant ramps, pedestrian crossing signs, and a small section of sidewalk as well. But the recommendation is to approve.
Sounds good. Anybody on Zoom on that item?
To ensure there's no one raising their hands.
All right. We're gonna move for a roll call to approve the item.
Counselor Bilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. All right, we're moving on to, that was 4B, so now it's 4C. Joseph Scanlon requests pedestrian crossing signals at the Webster Street, Cambridge Street, and Main Street intersection be reviewed and fixed to activate only when the crosswalk button is pressed. Anybody here to speak on this item? Anybody online?
To ensure there's no one raising their hands.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so we did check the pedestrian signals and actuators at this location. They are all working correctly, so the recommendation is to file.
Okay, move to a roll call, file the item.
Counselor Bilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. 4D, Carl Long requests installation of a crosswalk with flashing beacons on Southbridge Street at Washburn Street. Anybody hear that item? Anybody on Zoom?
To ensure there's no one raising their hands on Zoom.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so this section of Southbridge Street for a long time did not have any crosswalks, and it was actually fairly dangerous in terms of pedestrians crossing the street and having some bad outcomes out there, to be candid about it. We did recently install the first crosswalk in this stretch. It has curb extensions and a rapid flashing beacon further to the north, but it's a very long stretch. There's a second set that's under design now. This would be a third crosswalk, and it also makes sense. It's located at an intersection. There's been some recent commercial development in the area. So we do recommend approval, again, pending funding of the other related sidewalk and ADA ramp improvements that are necessary as well.
Sounds good. We move to approve the item. Roll call.
Counselor Bilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. All right, we have the no parking petitions. 5A, communication of the city manager recommend adoption of an ordinance to permanently establish no parking anytime on portions of both sides of Grafton Street. Anybody here speak on this item? Come on up, please. Name and residence, please.
Edward Gonzalez, 280 Grafton Street. Yes, recently on Grafton Street, around 280 Grafton Street, and around the neighborhood, have been 30-minute parking. I grabbed the parking permit, and the city hall said it was okay for me to park in front of 280 Grafton Street with this parking permit and for a guest. In front of my house, there's a 30-minute parking, and there's a few other residents that have no driveway parking. So to take that away from the whole neighborhood, where there's no parking on both sides of Grafton Street, you know, and it's a school district as well.
1 second. Yeah, no.
Yeah, just to clarify, so this item pertains to Grafton Street down by Roosevelt School.
No, down by Grafton Street School, 280 Grafton Street.
No, we're saying this petition is by the Roosevelt School.
Oh, so I got up for the wrong one.
Yeah,
Well,
we know now for the
okay,
next one.
well, that was a kind of waste of a breath. I heard Grafton Street so long.
Gotcha. Next.
Confuse me.
Yeah. Confuse all of us. So, just for clarification purposes, because it wasn't specifically written, it's not all Grafton Street that this petition is for. It's for the section where Roosevelt School is at. Yeah.
And Mr. Chair, I can clarify further just for people's information. So this would be
So it's not
extending.
all Grafton Street. This is just for the area of where Roosevelt School. He's going to clarify it right now.
Yeah, it'd be extending from the driveway of Roosevelt up toward the shopping plazas to all the way to Enid Street.
All the way to
Which is just past Taco Bell and the Bay State Bank there.
There you go. So that area, Taco Bell, Bay State Savings Bank, Roosevelt School.
All right, so there's nothing for by the Grafton Street School?
No. Your 30-minute parking is safe.
But my question is every time we park there, we use the parking thing, we always get ticketed for some reason. We are getting multiple tickets.
Yes, and I'm
So
perfect.
we'll give you our number so you can talk to us offline, but this doesn't pertain to that.
Yeah. Just trying to keep it all in order.
Okay,
But thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Name and residence, please.
How you doing? My name's Luis, and I'm going to talk about 90-day ban in Grafton Street.
Yeah.
I want to let you guys know that it's making it worse. The traffic, the line, before it moved faster, now it moves left. I have video. The traffic is stuck in 5 and 6 and 7 minutes. They're stuck. I have video, people even turning around and going the other way. Mr. Rowley was there for 20 minutes. I bet you if I asked him how many cars went in battery unlimited, he had no clue. Zero cars went in battery unlimited. Mr. Fresolo was there at the 27. I can ask him how many cars went in there. I bet you he don't know how many cars went in there. 0 cars, and I have all videos. I have all the videos and the picture. The cones in front of battery unlimited, that will start everything, and I have pictures you can see. Before the cone is the problem. After the cone, the traveling line is free. With the 90 ban, it's the same thing. I have picture and video. You can see clearly behind the cone is a mess. Everybody is stuck for minutes now, worse than before. After the cone and the crosswalk over there, clear, free and clear. Plus, the most important thing, they put in the kid in danger. With all those kids now have to go to walk to Grafton Street, 5th and 6th grader, walking between cars, and in winter time will be worse, because now when the snow comes, all those kids, if they want to go in the car in the right side, the car has to go halfway in the middle, in the traveling lane. If you want to enter the kid from the driver's side, somebody going to get killed over there. That's for winter time. And I have all the pictures and the evidence. And I don't know if they want to be serious and take a look with me, you guys can have a better judgment, because Ojeda and Vilota and you guys never been there. Fresolo is busy over there working with the housing. Mr. Rowley and the assistant, I see them a couple of times over there, but it's problems right in front of their nose, and they cannot figure it out yet. That's what I have to say. I don't know.
Thank you, Louis. Anybody else here to speak on this item? Do we have anybody online?
To the chair, we do have one person raising their hands online to speak. Akila, I will go ahead and recognize you now. You can press *6 to unmute.
Hello? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, can you give a name and residence, please?
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm a Worcester resident. Earlier, I believe yesterday, I submitted a email to the city councilors and the mayor in regards to the parking ban on Grafton Street that is proposed. I also submitted videos on 3 different occasions that showed that the parking ban, in fact, is not resolving the issue. The parking ban, in fact, is causing more congestion than it does, because now the cars cannot flow. The traffic does not flow. A car cannot safely pull over to the side of the road and let the traffic flow. The cars now stand in the middle of the street and wait in order to access the school. The cars are blocking entrances to the businesses because they have nowhere to go. So not only did the parking ban not help the situation, it's making it worse. So the traffic isn't flowing, the kids are being put at risk. So come wintertime, when there's ice and snow, I'm not sure how some of these cars are gonna make it up the small little hill of Roosevelt, how some of these kids are gonna cross the street with ice and snow on the ground. I really think that this is just a traffic issue and not an access to business issue. Because if the cars are pulled over to the side of the road, the traffic can flow and businesses can be accessed. But when the cars are in the middle of the street, stop at a standstill, going all the way back to Burger King, because I submitted videos that clearly show that, and I'm not sure if you guys seen them. I submitted 3 videos on 3 different occasions that show that the traffic goes past the traffic signs from the plaza. And that obviously shows that the parking ban is not helping. It's making it worse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fazoli, you want to speak on the matter? Yes, can I get Councilor Fazoli to speak on the item?
Mr. Chairman, through you, I couldn't disagree more, in all honesty. For anyone to say that the condition that we have now implemented there is worse than before. People started parking on Grafton Street at 12:30, and they would line up in front of those businesses and as far back to Dalton Street for over an hour. Sir, if you would, okay? That area of road was affected by people parking in their cars for over an hour to be the first one or the closest one to the door when they allowed cars to come on to Roosevelt's property. And in doing so, they affected traffic on Grafton Street for well over an hour. Now, what you're talking about is not perfect, you're right, but it happens, you just said it, sir, for 10 minutes. 10 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half. How you can say that that is worse, I just am bewildered that anyone could feel that way. Secondly, we have tried to work with the principal to allow parents to come onto the property and she has allowed parents to come onto the property at 2 o'clock. I'm aware that the dismissal is at 2:18. Once those cars start to flow on the property, and then I also, let me stop here and say, the young lady that spoke said, how are they going to make the hill in the snow? Well, they've made the hill in the snow prior to. They've made the hill. They come up, they've picked up their kids for how long the school has been open. They've picked up their kids and they've made it up the hill, so I guess they'll make it up the hill the same way they made it up the hill right along. And as far as I'm concerned, can it be tweaked? Yes. Mr. Raleigh and his assistant are looking into certain ways to tweak it, but for anyone to say that, and I can't tell you, Mr. Chairman, how many people have come up to me and thanked me for the improvement of that road. Not only the businesses, but residents of that area said, I would never go near there prior to you putting the no parking existing signs up there. So, again, if it's such an issue, we have two people here tonight saying it's worse than before. You don't have anyone else here saying negative things about it. Because in all honesty, it's much improved. And I'll leave it there, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Commissioner Raleigh?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So when we introduced this item to the City Council, one of the things that we wanted to be very clear about is that, and this is true at schools all across the city. So we have circumstances now where a majority of kids are getting picked up by automobile. We don't have as many kids walking, taking buses as used to. And so that creates a very significant problem because you have, particularly in the afternoon dismissal, you have a bunch of automobiles trying to show up to the exact same place at the exact same time. And so it overwhelms the capacity of the system to deal with that. What we observed out at Roosevelt is that the on-site parking areas didn't seem to be being utilized as efficiently as they could to help with that process. And as a result, we saw traffic that was looking to basically wait on Grafton Street. And, you know, if that street was configured in a way where parking on street was safe and not disruptive, that would be a different story. But in this case, we have a location where the shoulder is not really wide enough to function as a safe parking lane. So we see cars moving vehicles having to cross the double yellow line as these cars queued up in the parking lane. There's very frequent driveways in this section, so that makes it difficult to see when you're coming in and out of the driveways, which is a safety issue. And there are also uses that have very, very high rates of use at this time. So there's fast food restaurants and other similar types of business with a lot of traffic coming in and out. So it was creating a problematic situation. As Councilor Frisola said, we observed vehicles queuing there well over an hour before dismissal time, which was a bit surprising to me, to be honest. So it was creating this very extended period of time where there were safety issues observed. Those queues were extending back to the shopping center. They're blocking the travel lane. Vehicles were parking out around the curb extension near the crosswalk. So what we did is we convened a group that involved ourselves, Worcester Police Department, Roosevelt School, and we started looking at, first of all, what can we do to improve the drop-off and pick-up procedures on the school to make those more efficient. And so as part of that, and also working with the Massachusetts Safe Routes to Schools program, a scheme was developed where the entire parking lot is utilized, which allows more of the vehicles to access the on-site parking lot at any one time, reducing the need for people to queue and wait on Grafton Street. And the way that's made safe is that the school is very strict about making sure that everyone's vehicles are stopped and the motors are off. Kids come out of the school, they go to the vehicles. Only when everybody is loaded up do they get the start your engines, and that queue goes away and a second wave can come in. Has it completely addressed the situation? No, it hasn't. And just like at other schools around the city, we're always going to see a period of time where there's significant congestion that happens right around drop-off and right around pickup. It's too many vehicles going to one place at one time. But the thing we have observed is that it has helped with the safety issue at the driveway locations, and it did seem to significantly shorten the duration of that impact. So when we've been out there, post-implementation of this, what we saw is, yes, there was a period of time where Grafton Street was very heavily congested, stop and go at times. That lasted about 10 minutes. So it was significantly shorter than what we were observing previously. There's more to be done. We're going to work with the school in the fall again to continue to try to improve the efficiency of their on-site pickup, to help share information with parents about how they can best time their arrival so that they're minimizing the amount of time that they're impacting the street or looking for a place to wait if they are early. We are continuing to allow parking on Grafton Street itself beyond the driveway, so there is an area that's not interrupted by crossing driveways and has a little bit more width in that parking lane. There is an area where parents can wait there. And the city is also resurfacing this section of Grafton Street in the coming year. When that happens, we'll actually make that parking lane that's south of the drive, or actually east of the driveway, southeast. We'll make that a little bit wider too, so it'll be a better accommodation for those folks, including in winter when you've got some snow accumulation there. So, we continue to recommend that parking be prohibited on the portions of Grafton Street to the west of the driveway, just for the simple matter that the street is not suited to accommodate on-street parking. And the impacts that were observed from that were of concern to us.
Councilor Balada, anything you want to share on this item?
I understand that the challenge was pickup here. I think the hope was from the city to have parents start, going up the driveway to pick up children and then coming back down. I can understand some of the concerns, but I just want to say, with winter pickup, having, a foot of snow, 8 inches of snow on the curb, and then having cars stay on the street to pick up students. And I think that just can be very dangerous too, and like to hopefully encourage, drivers to have children, get in the car on the passenger side. We don't want, kids getting in the car on the driver's side. But I do feel that, having cars pick up on the street in the winter time is very dangerous. So I think we really need to work with the school, and I think the school really needs to step up to encourage and inform parents that, this option's there, and it's going to be much safer considering the amount of construction that's going to be happening on that area of Grafton Street with some new apartments coming in. It's going to be very, very challenging. So I think we really need to push for parents to and whoever's picking up to use the parking lot that was built. So
Thank you. Need something else? Outside.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Or we finished?
Make it quick, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Fresolo, how can you say there is a lot better now? Look at those pictures, after, before and after. In January 22nd, the tension between, look at this two. That after, this is before, clean.
Mr. Chairman, I don't need to see the pictures. I've been on the street several days, maybe 50 days, seeing how traffic is. I've monitored this situation like no one has. But I appreciate this. And you're right. It's like this for 10 minutes. You're right. Excuse me. It's right. It's like that for 10 minutes as opposed to what it was. Why didn't you take pictures prior to when the situation was as bad as it was all the way back to Burger King? People would line up for an hour
an hour.
Yeah.
That's not.
Oh, that's not
true.
exaggeration?
If the
That's
same thing like
exaggeration?
in January 22nd.
Mr. Chairman, I'm all set. Thank you.
I just want to say how much lie you saying.
Yeah.
This is all lie. When you said in January 22nd, can I?
But
That's it?
yeah, we're good because we're not being productive. And
Okay.
I do have the commissioners' recommendation, the studies they did, council stuff like that. So, but I think somebody else wanted to speak. Yeah, go ahead, come on up. Give the young lady time to speak. Name and residence, please.
Hi, my name is Kristen McAuliffe. I live at 38 Bedford Ave.
Okay.
I would like to ask what you're going to do about traffic studies once 471 units go across the street from Roosevelt School. When are those traffic studies going to begin?
Okay, that item is not on, but I have the commissioner here, and I'm sure that they're going to be very prepared for that, so I'm going to let them answer that question.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, the one thing I will say is that those are all reviewed by the planning board, and a traffic study is conducted by the planning board for any large development like that.
All right. Before we move to approve this item, I do want to put a chairman's order that I want to ask Department of Transportation, because I met with Louis, I've been there, I've been to school, I know the craziness, the traffic, everything. I know the safety concerns, I've seen it. I want to ask the Department of Transportation Mobility, the city, and Councilman Fasolo to work with the school, because we need to make it better for the parents who are picking up these kids. The traffic is really tough there. But for now, we're going to move to approve the item. Roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right, moving on to 5B. Sherry Robinson requests installation of no parking anytime signage between 4 and 8 Perry Ave to deter vehicles from blocking the driveways. Anybody hearing that item?
Stop, you want stop sign?
No, not yet.
Not yet,
We're getting there.
okay.
Sorry. Anybody online?
To the chair, there's no one raising their hands on Zoom.
Commissioner Raleigh. This is 5B.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this request was, there are two houses with a very small space between their driveways of about 8 feet. They were requesting the no parking signs be installed there. It's already prohibited by statutory ordinance. You can't park within 5 feet of a driveway, so that basically prohibits parking through there. We don't typically sign that unless there's a demonstrated history of vehicles violating that. And just from viewing the site and viewing the available aerial photography, I'm not seeing evidence of regular issues here. So I'm reluctant to recommend approval. It's only an 8-foot section. If someone's parking there, they know they're parking in a place they can't. So I don't think signage is going to help the issue, and I recommend file.
Receive. Anybody online on that item?
To the chair, there's no one raising their hands.
Mr. Chair, maybe if we could hold this item, we'll try to follow up with the petitioner and see if we can get more information.
Sounds good. Move to hold the item. Roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. Moving on to 5C. Councilor Robert Bellata requests installation of no parking anytime signage on the even side of Elliott Street between Eastern Ave and Edward Street. Anybody here to speak on this item? Name and residence, please.
Rizonardo Chavero.
Yeah.
I just got a question. I own 65 Elliott Street. It's a 3-family.
Okay.
Are they gonna affect the street there, not part, or is it gonna be the whole Elliott Street, or?
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just let me look up that property to see exactly where it is. I think it is on the,
It says on the
65.
even side of Elliott Street.
It's gonna be impossible,
between
you know what I mean? There's
Eastern
only
Ave.
3 houses on the road. There's no park space either or.
Yeah, through the chair. So that's actually outside of the area that we're recommending.
Doesn't affect you?
It's not gonna affect,
No.
because it's just gonna be very hard. There's no park space there.
Yeah.
So good then.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify, and I also wanted to mention that a related item that it might make sense to take at the same time is,
We do have a problem
Yes.
there, though. I've been trying to work with Worcester Engineer Department. We've been have a problem right in the corner, right before my house. I know it's on the top of the hill. They have a water problem built into the side of the road. But we've been have a lot of problem in winter. The water come from the road and create this big ice. So you have like, every year you have 5-6 accidents in the winter
All right.
time.
That-
So I've been working with them, but there's no progress. Just I want to point that out to you guys.
No, I appreciate pointing it out, but that'll be a different item on a different committee.
Okay, all right.
But thank you.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
Mr. Chair, I'd recommend that we also take item 6B at the same time because they are related.
So 5C and 6,
I believe it's 6B.
6B is right here. It's, yeah, Councilor Robert Bellotta requests Elliott Street be made a one-way street.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
So the two proposals are for the section of Elliott Street, which extends from Eastern Avenue to the west, essentially to its end. It turns into, well, it intersects Edward Street, and then shortly after it turns into Liberty Avenue. It's an extremely narrow section of street. It's only 23 feet wide. So what that means is that if you ever, and people are pretty good about not doing this, but sometimes it does happen. If you ever have cars parked on both sides of the roadway, there's no way you can get through. And if you're a fire truck or something, ambulance, it's just impossible. So what's being recommended here, and we agree with, is from Elliott Street to the west, which is this narrow section, to prohibit parking on the south side of the street. And we've observed 99% of people already are not parking on that side of the street. And then additionally, at this width, it's still very difficult to travel down there with two-way traffic if you have vehicles parked even on the one side. So recommending also to make it one-way in the westbound direction, so basically going from Eastern Ave toward Liberty Avenue. So we recommend approval of both of those items.
Councilor Bellotta, do you want to share on this?
I appreciate DTM's analysis, and I think this will definitely help alleviate, especially in the winter, just alleviate traffic congestion and make the street safer and provide better traffic flow. So thank you.
All right, so we move to approve the item. Roll call.
Councilor Bellotta,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna take 5D and 5E together. Maria Castillo requests installation of no parking anytime signage on the even side of South Street. And Maria Castillo requests installation of no parking anytime signage at the driveway of 8 Chapin Street. Anybody here to speak on this item? Come on up. Name and residence, please.
Hi, Matthew Early, Worcester. I own 3 houses on South Street. The parking is very tight. There's only, in the winter parking ban, if I'm not incorrect, is only on the even side. There's no parking really for the staff at Union Hill School, which exasperates the parking. So I'm just not sure where the tenants will park if we can't park on the even side. Maybe if they do it from Chapin Street towards Dorchester Street, that won't affect the side of South Street where all the 9 houses are. That's it.
Thank you. Go ahead, name and residence.
Hi. So my name is Maria Castillo. Or the contrary of what the gentleman just says, South Street, on the even numbers, they park all the way on that side, on South Street. And the right side on South Street is for residential parking only. Thank God we've been living there for 30 years, and I love my house. I love the peace, and I would like to congratulate all of you for your amazing work. To the sir especially, I appreciate what you're doing. I'm seeing how the neighborhood have been changed. I haven't talked about this yet, but not everything is bad. I've seen the change in the neighborhood. 30 years is a lot of time to see the progress. So I appreciate, the cross for the kids. In front of our house, we have the Union School, and also we have the Worcester Academy. So they always cross in front of our house, and then they have the pathway to go to the football stadium and the amazing new building, in which we are so grateful. There are so many, they're so grateful kids. They're amazing kids. So everything is good. So that is great. So not everything is bad. This is really, really good, and we're more than grateful for it. So now the part that it concerns us. So I've been dealing and going back and forth here at the courthouse, and also I've been to the Worcester Public Works, and I've been talking to the gentleman named as well, Mr. Kotowski, and the next day that I spoke with him, a police officer, he just turned on his webcam, and in front of my house is at the corner right between South and Chapin. It's right there in the corner. So we have the crosswalk for the kids, and then we have our own driveway. So our own driveway, we put, the police officer said that, Maria, but that's not a legal sign. So, well, I need to put something because they keep blocking us. I have many pictures here that I'm not willing to show as an evidence. So he decided to take the measurements, and he put tape on it, and he said, Maria, it's not even 4 feet available to park a car. So I'm going to suggest, this is the police officer saying that to put the no parking. And also, I have my driveway that don't block my driveway that is in front of the house. So, so I was so grateful to the police officer and to Mr. Kukowski, to the city hall, I know her, for so many times. So there were 2 other things that, if I'm able to say or to make a small comment when I came here. So because of, we care about the kids, we care about the workers, we give water, we give Gatorade, we 30 years there, so it means something. So we do not appreciate that the feces of the dogs, people do not care. I cannot be sitting on the chair waiting for people come with the,
Yeah. I know that's a problem, but just not part of this meeting.
I know, I'm so sorry.
No problem. I'm just trying
I'm sorry.
You got a lot of people here, and
I know, I'm so sorry.
But I understand your issue, and
Yeah, because
we
just
can-
across the street, they have the sign
Yeah.
from here,
We'll
but
be-
I'm gonna do it again. It's okay.
We'll be happy to
So-
contact the Department of Inspectional Services.
Who? I need to-
Department of Inspectional Services. The Department of Inspectional Services. That's
Okay, I'm gonna
Fusolo,
do that.
your Council Fusolo will help you out.
I will do that. And the last one, no, so that's it.
Thank you so much. Yes, go ahead.
They even park in the school. It's no parking space. They park overnight, blocking that one way.
Yeah.
And that's not right.
Do you guys call 311 on that?
We call,
311.
they come.
Yeah.
Okay, they do
But
come.
they don't do nothing.
They don't do nothing. Okay, no enforcement. Okay, we'll work
Yeah.
on that.
We call it 311, and they
Yeah.
just take the car, and sometimes I put signs on the windshield, please do not block our driveway. In the morning, I said, how long are you gonna stay? Because I go very nicely. and he just shouted at me, and I said, oh my God. So sometimes we feel victims, and we don't know. I mean, I'm not 40 or 30 years old. I don't have the same strength. So anything that they could harm to us, so we became like prisoners in our own house. So once the city takes over, I mean, we did so many things that the city, I'm so proud of the city because the one way on South Street, I was the one who was doing it. We did so many great things, but now we have this serious situation, and by law, of the measurements and everything, it needs to be taken care of. We appreciate on that situation because there's no space for parking, and also please do not block our driveway because it's ridiculous. At 12 o'clock at night, 311 is closed. So we have to do whatever we can, and we try to make the peace, but this guy coming up to me and, wow, this is too much. I don't want to over anybody. So please help us with this, and I appreciate that.
Councilor Fasolo, you have anything you want to say?
No, Mr. Chairman. I know the area well. I grew up in Union Hill, and we just had a cleanup in that neighborhood, so I know the parking is difficult, and I agree with the recommendation from the city. Thank you, Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman.
Raleigh?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so I'm actually wondering, and this is a little bit of a change from our recommendation. I'm wondering if it makes sense to hold this item for one meeting so we can go out and meet with the petitioners, because you've described several different issues out there, and I want to make sure that we've got the right solution before we vote it through. So if I could, through the chair, the second issue, the issue with your driveway, that's the driveway on the Chapin Street side, is that correct? Is that where you're having issues with people blocking it? Or on the South Street side?
No, it is a Chapin Street.
Okay.
So the guy said, oh, it's, so we have, the entrance as the driveway, so we don't have the asphalt,
But you have
we
the
have
gate-
it in the
gate
dirt.
across it, yep.
And he said, it's not in the asphalt. I go, sir, I want to be the green because not everything is asphalt. We need the green, kids can run in the green. We don't need to put everything is asphalt or cement. So that's when he just got like a fire back at me, and I said, no, I want to keep it the way that it is, but it is a driveway, so we can go in and out because that's we pay taxes for all this right now.
So, Mr. Chair, the good news is I think we have previously taken action that should have resulted in no parking signs there already, and if they're not there, I'll need to find out why. But there should be no parking signs there already, is my understanding. So my recommendation on the second one would be to go ahead and hold that item so we can investigate that. If my memory's correct and the signs aren't there, we'll get those installed. And then we could file the item at a later meeting. But for the first one, in terms of parking on one side of South Street or the other, there's a couple of different ways we could approach this. One is we could prohibit parking. That would have some negative impacts in the neighborhood in terms of reducing the number of spaces. But the street is very narrow to have parking on both sides of the street. Just as a way of comparison, the street I live on, which I know you're familiar with, is same width as this street. So, we have parking allowed on one side of our street. When someone does park on both sides, it's pretty tough for vehicles to pass through. Another option is we could look at making this section of South Street one way, though, and that the street would be wide enough to accommodate parking on both sides. So I think if you're agreeable to this, I think it makes sense to hold this item, and I can go out and meet with the residents out there and see if there's consensus as to which approach is the right way to do it.
Received. So we brought C and D together. So are we holding both C and D, or just C, or just D, or just both?
Mr. Chair, I'd recommend both.
Okay.
So
Sounds
may I
good.
say something else? Because the crosswalk for the kids, the fire hydrant is there, the emergency ramp is there. Then you have the space by law that no parking because of that. So they only have 5 feet because the police officer did. Then our driveway is there, so nobody respect. I mean, whoever's picking up the kids is fine with us. We're happy to. Why not? It's the fact that the neighbors just it's too much. We don't want that. So it's like a no parking and please do not block our driveway. It's
So, Mr. Chair,
the only thing we
I
ask.
believe the driveway, we've already passed that
Yeah.
regulation, so if that's the case, we'll get the work order and to get those signs installed. I just need to
Appreciate
confirm that.
Yeah, no problem. We'll hold the items. Roll
To
call.
the chair, we do have one person raising their hands
Oh.
on Zoom.
Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
to Speaker Nana Manning, you can press *6 to unmute.
Thank
Hello.
you so much.
Hello, how you doing? Name and residence, please?
I'm Nana Manning. I'm a resident of South Street.
Go ahead.
Hi. So I actually live in one of the properties that Matt mentioned. I've lived here for a few years. The road is narrow. I do understand that, and there would be nowhere for anyone to park if we got rid of parking on the even side. It's already extremely unfortunate in the winter. Sometimes I live all the way at the end towards Shannon Street. Sometimes I have to walk with my groceries from the end of Union Hill, probably where Maria is mentioning where her house is, just to get to my house with all my bags and stuff. And if we get rid of parking on the opposite side, it's going to be extremely limited. I don't know, maybe she can get a no parking. I think she already mentioned that she's supposed to have one for her area, but I think putting no parking on the whole street would be very unfortunate for the people who live here and who don't have access to driveways, because I can't park in a driveway.
Thank you, Nana. We're gonna move to hold the item.
Yeah, Mr.
Nick-
Chair, if either of the other people who spoke on this want to discuss it further with our office, they can just reach out to mobility@worcesterma.gov, or they can call us at 508, I'm going to get the number wrong, Todd, because I never remember our number, 92.
Sorry.
Phone
it's
numbers are terrible
508
now that we program them
it's,
all in
it's
our...
508-929-1300, extension 49500.
Or mobility@worcesterma.gov. So if you want to reach out and you have any thoughts on this or just want to keep track of what our thinking is prior to the next hearing, happy to chat with folks.
All right, thank you. Move to hold the items. Roll call.
Councilor Balata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right, we're gonna move to item 5F and 5G. We're gonna bring together. We got 5F, Jody Reiner requests installation of permanent no parking anytime signage on Burnco Street along the bike lane. And 5G, Councilor Tony Economo requests installation of no parking anytime signage along the bike path routes on Burnco Street in the interest of public safety. Name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Jody Reimer, 105 Hillcroft Ave. We have a bike lane on both sides of Burncoat, and it is frequent daily occurrence that people will park in the bike lane. And there are two issues. I think some people are just repeat offenders, especially if you see someone parked half in the bike lane and half on the street or half on the sidewalk that know they're not supposed to do that. But I think a bigger issue in general is that it's not very well demarcated, and so the bike lane in some spots is almost wide enough to look like it could fit a car, but it's not quite. And the painting on the street, there's like 50 yards between, so I could see people thinking, oh, it's parking, especially if they're, visiting or not from the neighborhood, and there's just not good signage that indicates no parking because it is a bike lane. So just any way to get people to understand that better. That's my request. Thanks.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Yeah, I'm Terrence Seymour. I live at 537 Burncoat. We live diagonally across from the triangle. And anyways, the bike lane, we have a split driveway that we share with our neighbors. The woman next door, the chair van comes, I park my car out there so the chair van could pull around, swing in easier. I've gotten 3 tickets, okay? And besides, the street is wider at that point, just before the triangle. You can look it up, it's wider than the other end. And I only see 2 people a week, if I'm lucky, even using the bike lane. And when I park, I pull right over to the curb. And besides, what do we do if we have company one day? They pull right in front of our house and they get a ticket. You know what I'm saying? That part of Burncoat Street, it's wider, and I don't think it should be closed, you know, I mean, but, you know, for the bike lane. That's all I got, thank you.
Thank you. Name and
I feel
residence.
the same way. It's like when he parks, it's usually on the weekend.
Well, most of the time, I park there on the
I
weekend.
mean, across from us is Vendora.
Because her son comes and visits us, and so we don't want two cars out there, so I
Acro-
park out there, so anyways. go ahead.
Across from us is Vendora Street or Road, and most people park on there. So we can't really park there because it's already taken up by them. If we have company or we want to whatever. So where are we supposed to park? If somebody comes,
And in the wintertime, we make sure both cars are in the driveway on our side. We share a split driveway, so.
and the people to the right of us have a lot of parties and they park out front.
They have their guests come, they're parked all the way down, almost all the way down to East Mountain Street. And it's
So-
narrower down there.
So we're not eligible for any like residential parking, like one area?
That's a different petition. Speak to your city councilor.
Well, I don't think the city would appreciate us parking on the triangle, right?
Well, anyways, I talked to Donna Colorio when she was here about residential parking, and
Yeah.
it never happened.
Yeah, well.
Well, I
city-
mean, one area to park.
Right. City council over here can take care of you.
So is this gonna be continued another time, or?
Well, we're still having testimony
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Name and residence, please.
Good afternoon. My name is David Shea. I've resided at 464 Burco Street for the last 40 years. Before that, I lived on Gunnison Road, and prior to that, Ungatina Ave. So I have been in the Burco Street, Upper Burco Street neighborhood my whole life. And today, I'm here to voice my opinion in opposition to these two items in the agenda. It appears the request includes all bike lanes on Burco Street from 146 to 541 Burco, as this is a section that was recently paved and then striped with bike lanes that did not exist before the repaving of the street. This section of Burco Street contains 196 homes, both single-family and multi-residential. It contains 3 schools, 2 churches, 1 bank, as well as several brick-and-mortar businesses, 2 markets, and several artisan home-based concerns. The average age of these homes in this section are between 80 and 120 years of age, with the 278-year-old Amos Flag House built in 1748. In 1900, there were a total of 8,000 cars registered in the entire country. In 1940, only 50% of households in Worcester owned an automobile. Most houses on Burco Street were built before the automobile was a common household necessity. On most properties, a one-car approach was installed to facilitate off-street parking for most homes. Some houses to this day have no off-street parking. Today, with multiple car families the norm, on-street parking is a necessity we cannot afford to negate. Other effects of this request fail to take into consideration are those who provide services to residents of the neighborhood. I don't think there is anyone in this room who at one time or another receives a delivery from Amazon, UPS, or FedEx. Where are they to park when performing their deliveries? What about artisans who perform home-based services, medical professionals, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, and landscapers, who now must haul their tools and materials for longer distances while parking their vehicles around the corner in front of another neighbor's house, tying up their street? I am not without heart. Safety of bicycle riders should be the concern of all. I ask you to tell me in the last 2 years how many auto/bicycle events have occurred in this section of Burco Street causing personal injury or death. The speed limit on Burco Street is now 25 miles per hour and 20 in the school zones. Auto drivers and cyclists share an equal responsibility of always operating their vehicles in a safe manner, and in doing so, makes this request unnecessary. Most importantly, in addition to these already mentioned, guests to my home will now have to seek alternative parking if I or one of my neighbors should be hosting a graduation or cookout. I would like to think that the requesters of these items would publish their addresses, allowing my guests to park in front of their home with shuttle services to my event. Thank you.
I'm at 105 Hillcroft Ave, and you are welcome to park at my house. That's fine. That's totally fine. I think we're
Name and
talking
residence?
about, sorry, Jody Reimer, 105
Okay.
Hillcroft Ave. I think we're talking about two different things. I think the people who have spoken are very opposed to having there been a bike lane put in. And I understand that, and I think that had there should have been potentially more discussion of, like, do we have parking on one side of the street, bike lane on one side, more, but I wasn't privy to any of that. My only thing is that there is a bike lane, and where there is a bike lane, there's not enough spaces for cars in places I see sometimes cars parking, and I think they think there's enough space, but it's not safely there. And so just marking it as a bike lane, and like, hey, this is a bike lane. And I took the bus here today. I waited 6 to 10 minutes on the corner of Clark and Burncoat, and I saw different bicyclists, a guy on a skateboard with his kid on a scooter using it, right? So, yeah, I'm all for safety and I'm all for access and stuff, but just, marking it as a bike lane, and there, yeah, as far as I understand, you can't park in a bike lane. So.
Thank you, Councilor Economo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the residents coming out today and talking on that item, and quite frankly, I agree with them. The purpose for my item when I filed the item was specifically between Clark Street and Fairhaven Road. There are habitual abusers in that stretch, and that stretch is probably the narrowest of Burncoat Street, where the cars don't even fit when they park within the bike lane. So I sat there on Fairhaven Road and just watched for a day. Cars come in parking, bicyclists coming around, and it just causes whatever vehicle is in that lane, if they're not willing to wait till the bicyclist clears the car, they're going into the other lane, the oncoming lane. And in that section there, that's the tightest. In addition to that, it'll need to be a different discussion, but I would agree with all of them in regards to parking. It does limit parking for those people who don't have parking there, but I'll talk to them. I won't burden this committee at this moment about it, but that's the section that is most troublesome in that area. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Rowley.
Yeah, Mr. Child, go ahead and simplify it even further for the committee. So there are bike lanes out there today. It's illegal across the state of Massachusetts to park in a bike lane. So regardless of whether we put signs up or not, it's not a legal parking space now, and people will be ticketed for it. Both of the petitions are asking for the same thing, which is that we more clearly communicate that to people so that they're aware that they can't park there. If they happen to not notice it's a bike lane or confuse it as a parking lane, they might inadvertently park there and get a ticket. So this is really a request to further communicate what the existing regulations are. I will say that the bike lanes on Burncoat Street were established in large part because the width of the street didn't really facilitate accommodating on-street parking, and there wasn't very much on-street parking that had been observed previously, largely in part due to that constraint. So, recognizing that there wasn't a lot of parking demand on the street, there were cross streets that had parking available, and we had this physical constraint to deal with. In addition to this being really the one corridor that was an opportunity to provide a bicycle facility from that whole neighborhood down toward the downtown area. That was the reason for the decision. But again, This decision before you today isn't about whether that's a bike lane or not, or where the bike lane goes. It's, do we put signs up so people understand that it's a bike lane in our recommendation? In this case, given the history of some violations, we receive calls all the time asking for parking enforcement to go out and ticket. So we do think adding signs will help to better convey that.
For communication purposes. Is Councilor Balado, anything you want to say on this item?
No, I'm agreeing with what everyone's saying.
I think you want to say one more thing?
Well, the only question I had about when the gentleman referenced the availability of cross-street parking, and there are, I believe, 34 cross streets. So if you're lucky enough to have a corner lot, then you have options. But there is one section between Clark Street and Fairhaven Road where there are 21 houses with no cross street. So you're asking someone, I mean, that road is 2 miles long. You're asking someone to walk 1/8 of a mile from parking their car on a cross street to their front door, which is, it's ridiculous. You know, in the wintertime, Burncoat is an emergency street. There is no parking on both sides from December to May, right? Now, the city promises to plow our street curb to curb. In the 40 years I have lived on Burncoat Street, I don't see my curb from the first snowstorm in December till the last melt in July, you know? So, I mean, I love my city, don't get me wrong, and they try their best. But like I say, when you put 5 feet of snow on a bike lane that's only 2 feet wide, the bike lane is going to disappear for 6 months out of the year, you know? And like I say, I don't want to hold things up any more than I have to, but to have no parking, to take the parking away from the residents of Burncoat Street for the 7 or 8 bicycles that I see drive by in a day is absolutely ridiculous.
Councilor Kahneman?
Thank you, Chairman. Like I said earlier, I'm more than happy to have a meeting with the neighbors up there, and Commissioner Rowley, if you're open to attending that, maybe we can look at something, see what we can work out to, see what we can do, because they have all valid points, so that's all I have to add to that. Thank you.
Okay, and just for clarification purposes, what's in front of us today is not, are we taking parking away from anybody in Burncoat Street? This is clarification to put up the no parking signs on where there's already no parking. That's what this is about today. There's already no parking there. Now we're just gonna put up the no parking sign so the residents know you can't park in the bike lane.
Okay, so to clarify.
Just, and also one more thing, the gentleman over here already has 3 tickets because he parked in a no park, but he just
Right.
wasn't the sign.
So on that note,
Yeah,
right, if there is a bike lane, there is no parking in the bike lane. That is the law.
yeah.
Okay, if we were to look at the way they've laid the bike lane out, sometimes there is a 3 or 4 foot section that is not road and not bike lane. Can you park there?
So that's where Counselor and the Department of Sustainability is gonna meet with you guys to come up with a better suggestion
Because
on
we
areas.
don't want another Mill Street.
There you go. So for now, we're just gonna move to, yes, sir.
I just wanted to say something. Down where we live, the bike lane's a little wider. I pulled right up against the curbing. And if you can't get a bike beside my car running out, there's something wrong with you. Okay? Really, I'm serious. And I still got a ticket.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay.
All right, we move to approve the item, roll call.
To the chair, just clarification, so, because we have.
Oh, sorry,
two- yeah.
sorry. It's approving F and filing G.
Okay, Counselor Balada,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. All right, we're on to, I think H is over here. Yep, 5H. Joshua Calvi requests installation of no parking anytime signage at the intersection of Bristol Street and Burncoat Street. Anybody here on that item? Anybody online?
To the chair, there's no one raising their hands on Zoom.
Commissioner Rowley.
Mr. Chair, we were hoping to hear from the petitioner for some clarification as to why this may be needed. I don't know if Councilor Kahneman might have thoughts on this. Maybe we want to hold it until he's he's back. Otherwise, we could hold the item
There he is.
for a future meeting.
Councilor Conomo, we have Joshua Carvey request installation of no parking anytime signage at the intersection of Bristol Street and Burncoat Street. Do you have,
Sorry, I could probably speak to that.
Name and
He
a-
actually
and a-
lives across the street from me, and I don't know him, but my name is Janice McLean, and I live at 15 Bristol Street.
Okay.
And when I saw this, I was actually pretty excited because right now, cars on occasion are parking on both sides of Bristol Street at the entrance to Burncoat. And it's making it very narrow, and it's very dangerous for if there's a car trying to turn in and a car trying to come out. I don't know if someone has spoken to the neighbors, because the last few days, they have not been parking there, and it's like much nicer. But I really do think it's a safety issue.
anything you want to say on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would agree with the woman who just spoke. At that section there, right at the top, right where it comes into Burncoat Street, it's probably the narrowest of that whole street. And the street in general is narrow as it is. So anything that could be done to help alleviate that bottleneck right at the tip there would be welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, thank you both for the clarification. So the street is about 30 feet wide there. If people are parking on both sides, it's not wide enough for two-way traffic to get through. So by law, there's already a 20-foot prohibition from the intersection. That's not especially far for someone to be able to navigate that. So we have two options before us. We could, the committee could recommend an order that statutory limit be signed. So we could go and put signs up right now that say no parking within 20 feet of the intersection. Again, that's not a whole lot of distance. If we want to go a little bit further back than that and perhaps just on one side, I think it would make sense here to perhaps prohibit parking for 40 to 50 feet on one side of the street. And that will ensure that there's enough room there that if someone's waiting at the stop sign, that a car turning in could get by them. Todd, I don't know if you had a recommendation on north side versus south side, maybe the north side because of the stop bar?
Yeah, I'd recommend 40 feet on the north side because of the stop bar, and then I would still recommend posting the 20-foot statutory on the south side just to communicate that as well, so you're ensured that both areas are clear.
Mr. Chairman, if I may? Yes. If I could just ask us to hold the item, I want to just talk to the other neighbors that this would affect, if that's okay, just to save us all some further grief.
That sounds good to me. Yep, all right, so we'll hold the item roll call.
Councilor Balata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. Move on to 5I, Councilor John Frisoto, on behalf of Donald Lean, request installation of no parking at anytime signage between the driveways of 3 Village Street and 7 Village Street to protect the driveways from being blocked. Anybody here on that item? Name and address, please.
My name is Donald Bond. I live at 3 Village Street. Between 3 and 7 Village Street, there's about 6 feet of curb. It's hardly room for a car. Constantly, either one driveway is blocked or the other driveway is blocked. I've 311'd it numerous times, but the cars usually move before 311 can get out there. And on the weekend, there's no parking enforcement, so when they do park, it tends to be on the weekend when there's no parking enforcement. It's caused a problem for DPW for trash pickup. It's caused a problem in the winter because even though there's a parking ban on the odd side of Village Street, cars park there, and a plow one night couldn't even get through. Tooted his horn, tooted his horn, tooted his horn. Finally, somebody on the other side moved their car so he could get through. So it's just in general this little, and that's the only place anybody seems to park, is that little section. The rest of the street, nobody parks on that side of the street, so.
Thank you.
It's,
Councilor Frisoto, anything you want to say on that item?
Mr. Chairman, I've gone up and viewed it personally, so I agree with the petitioner, and I'm hoping the city agrees with the petition we filed. Thank you.
Is anybody online want to speak on this item?
To Chair, we have one person raising their hands on Zoom. to speaker with phone number ending in 3088. You can go ahead and press star 6 to unmute. Hello?
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes. Name and
Hello?
address, please.
Yes, my name is Bill Galley. I'm the property manager for 7 Village Street. Just wanted to make sure you could hear me okay.
Yes.
I wanted to thank the board and also Don next door, who I've yet to meet, but he actually kind of beat us to the punch on this request. I agree with him wholeheartedly. It's absolutely, I don't know how there hasn't been an accident to date. I'll admit that one of our tenants was parking there at one time. I don't know if it was either out of spite or out of laziness. We have plenty of off-street parking, but it would require them to swap cars in the morning if one of the tenants had to get to work early in the morning. And when they saw that the fellow across the street was parking there, I think one of the young ladies that is one of our tenants was parking there as well. I told her, look, we don't control the city streets, only our parking lot, but that it's an accident waiting to happen. One particular day, the city trash truck actually could not get through. I don't know if it was our tenant that was there or the fellow across the street, and actually had to back down and go around the block and then back down the road, which is a huge waste of time. The fellow that had been parking there lives across the street and apparently does Uber in the evening. We got a letter from the city sanitary inspector about a tree limb. This was recent. It was going over the sidewalk. It wasn't even our tree. It was number 3's tree, but it went over our property and over the sidewalk. When we showed up with the crew to clip the limb, we couldn't do it because the fellow was parked there in the middle of the day. There was a patrol car locally, and the officer had located the individual on the 3rd floor of the resident across the street, and spoke in a different language to him, indicating that it was a dangerous place for him to park. She did say, the officer, that because it wasn't posted no parking and that it is in fact a two-way street, that it wasn't illegal for him to park there, but yet that it was dangerous. He agreed and he moved his vehicle, and of course subsequently went back there and started parking there again, and has since. So it was just by sheer coincidence that we received this letter in the petition that our neighbor filed, but I'm in agreement with him 100%. It's just an accident waiting to happen. If any of you have on the board had driven by there and saw it, it's just a real small stretch of the road that it barely fits a car. And what it does do is it blocks the road so that the city trash truck can't get through, and our tenants can't back out. I assume that's why the petitioner requested it as well. But it is truly an accident waiting to happen if they park there.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Raleigh?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so this is an interesting little stretch of curb that apparently is just long enough to be enticing to encourage someone to park there. It's not big enough to accommodate it between the 2 driveways, so we do recommend approval.
Sounds good. And approve the item. Roll call.
Councilor Bellotta,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. 5J, Abigail Bowles, request installation of no parking anytime signage on the southeast side of the driveway located in the vicinity of 85 Mountain Street East. Anybody here on this item? Anybody online?
To show to have one person raising their hands, I would go ahead and recognize them now.
Hi, my name is Abigail Bowes. I live at 79 East Mountain Street. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. So I had submitted for this, and it kind of got split into 3 different items, so I can talk about them all at once. But I live at 79 East Mountain Street, and I share a driveway with about 6 units. It's 3 duplexes. There's lots of kids. There's people of all ages. As many people probably know, a lot of folks drive pretty fast on Mountain Street going in both directions, and at baseline, it can be pretty hard to turn in either direction out of there, left being much more unsafe than right. Even when there's no cars parked on the road, we often have to pull all the way out so that you're just about going to touch the north-going traffic and roll your window down, listen, and make sure there's no cars coming just so you can get out safely. And more recently, there have been a lot of folks parking right on that shoulder all the way up until the very entrance to the driveway. And that can cause an even shorter period of time for us to be able to see oncoming traffic safely. My husband and I know several other residents and their older family members have almost gotten T-boned trying to get out of there even after waiting quite a while. So my request had just been to try to address this in some way. And, you know, if we need to allow people to park there, you know, is there a way to put up a convex mirror where we can actually see the cars coming at a little bit of a warning, or a blind driveway sign, or perhaps I think the simplest would just be to ask that there's no cars allowed to park in at least the 1 to 2 car spaces right before the driveway.
Thank you, Abigail. Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, do we want to also take 11A and 10I at the same time, which are the other 2 items that the petitioner spoke about?
11, yes, let's do that, please, but let me grab it. You said 11A?
11A and 10I.
11A, we have Abigail Bowles requesting installation of a convex mirror in the vicinity of 85 Mountain Street East. And you said, what was the other one?
10I.
Oh, 10I. Going backwards now. All right, 10I, Abigail Rose requests installation of blind driveway signage in the vicinity of 85 Mountain Street East. Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so, I think the petitioner fully described what the issue is here. There's traffic on Mountain Street is often traveling faster than it should be, frankly. They're having difficulty safely pulling out of their driveway and having enough sight distance to be able to see oncoming traffic. So they have 3 sort of separate petitions, as has been described. The first is to prohibit parking along that section of Mountain Street East. There's a wide shoulder there. Parking is not currently specifically prohibited. You don't often see people parking out there, but when they do, I imagine it does make it very difficult to pull out of those driveways. The other 2 suggestions were permission for a convex mirror. I'll start with that one. Formerly, DPW would allow convex mirrors to be installed. They haven't for many years. And that's actually pretty typical among jurisdictions now because there's a number of issues with them. They tend to distort the image and people develop sort of a false sense of security. And that's especially a concern on our street like this where people are traveling 40 miles an hour. You just can't adequately gauge oncoming traffic in those mirrors. They've proven to be a maintenance issue. On a wide street like this, they would be too far away to see. So that's not really an option here in the public right of way. The second was a blind driveway sign. That's another sign that tends to not have a lot of positive effectiveness. People just tend to ignore them, and we really do try to only place those where there's a very tight curve and you literally can't see that there's a driveway immediately after it. So we don't recommend either of those. We do agree that parking should be prohibited in advance of the driveway. I think in my written recommendations, I said for 40 feet. I'm going to go ahead and increase that to 50 feet, which would take it basically to the property line. So it would prohibit parking on this side of the road, essentially along the frontage of the subject property.
Thank you. So with that being said, we're going to file 10I and 11A, and we're going to approve, is it 5J? Roll call.
Councilor Balata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. We're on to 5K. Councilor Robert Bellata requests installation of no parking anytime signage in front of 145 East Central Street to improve traffic and pedestrian visibility. Anybody hear that item? Councilor Bellata.
Yes, I just wanted to submit this because I was driving on East Central Street and it's in front of parking right in front of the Pampas Brazilian Steakhouse, and it's just very hard line of sight. There's as you're going west on that road, there's a sharp corner that, when you're coming from Shrewsbury Street on East Central, there's a lot of cars parked there, and there's a crosswalk right in front of the address there. So hoping to just make this clearer for pedestrian safety and traffic.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Raleigh?
Mr. Chair, yeah, and just to clarify, this is just the sort of short section between the crosswalk on the East Central and then the side street, which is, sorry, I lost my place. Shamrock. So we're just talking about that short section. Technically, parking's already prohibited there because that is within the intersection. And it's also within 20 feet of both crosswalks, but we do agree that that should be signed, frequent to observe people parking there. So we agree that signage does make sense and recommend approval.
Sounds good. We're gonna move to approve the item. Roll call.
Councilor Balada,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. Moving on to 6A. Lisa McHugh requests Standish Street be made a one-way street. Come on up, please. Name and address.
Hi, thank you. I'm Robin Caraway Waterhouse. I live at 61 Standish Street. I share my neighbor, the petitioner's frustration with the speeding problems in our neighborhood, and I support her request for a speed bump in front of her house. But I'm very much opposed to making Standish Street a one-way street for the following reasons. I've lived there for 16 years. My end of Standish Street is a hill. In the summertime, it doesn't look like much, but it's deceivingly steep and long, and it's difficult to get up and down in icy conditions. And on a personal level, my garage is located right in the middle of that hill. So that whether you make the street one way in one direction, north, or the other direction, south, that's going to greatly affect how I get into my garage. I won't be able to get into my garage. If it's one way south, heading down the hill towards Grafton Street, 16 years of snow has taught me that I will slide right past my garage broadside. And I can't recover from that and then back up because the hill is too steep. And if you make the one way in the opposite direction, north towards Hamilton Street, I would be backing out of my garage into the middle of the hill and trying to climb the hill from a stop, and my car can't do that. I can't get up that part of Standish in the winter. So I'll never be able to get into my own garage again if you make it one way. And I'm not the only person that has trouble making it up that hill. I've been digging out people every winter who get stuck on Standish Street right in front of my house. So I'm asking to keep it two ways so that people, whether they get stuck going up the hill or coming down it, they need to be able to safely turn around one direction or another, from whatever direction they're coming from, and get out of the slip that they're in on the ice. And last, I'm a busy commuter. I often have a 2-hour commute. I access various highways for my commute, and having that access either way to either Grafton Street or Hamilton Street. Hamilton takes me to 495, Grafton Street takes me to the Mass Pike. I really don't want to spend the next 20 years of my career coming home after a long commute and then having to navigate other people's neighborhoods, which are largely also one-ways, also very densely parked, also very hilly. I like my street the way it is. I love living on Standish Street. It's very easy to live there. I'm sure my other neighbors feel the same about access to those two streets and dropping kids off at school and going to the doctor. it's a very easy street to live on. I think it's safer if it stays two ways. And, I just want to say that life is getting harder for working class people in all kinds of ways. Please don't add access to my own home to that list. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address?
Tegan McEachran, 14 Standish Street. I agree with a lot of what the previous speaker said. I've lived at Standish Street for the past 11 years. It was my first apartment, and I absolutely love living there. If this gets passed, if you look at Google Maps, Standish Street going towards Ingleside, Fairmount, Pilgrim, Puritan, is already designated as a one-way and one way or the other. And that everything past us heading down towards, Delmont, Fair are both two ways. If either way, if you, cut us off at Grafton Street, then all that's gonna do is push us down to the Massasoit at Grafton Street intersection, which, while improved, it's still a 5-way intersection. And past that, we have to deal with the rotary down at Billings Square, which is greatly improved. I'd also like to thank you guys for putting in speed bumps on her end of the street. And if it could be noted to put speed bumps on my end of the street towards Hamilton Street.
Put in the petition?
Fantastic, as well as the
Talk to your
repaving.
counselor.
So, will do.
Yeah.
Worcester Fire uses our street a lot to get from Hamilton to Grafton Street and then back again. I think that, I can't for the life of me as a former FedEx driver think of the benefit of making that a one-way street. I don't know if, the person that proposed this could elaborate on that, then that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address?
Gianni Toronto, I actually live on Fair Ave, so this actually does affect me because in the snow, Standish Street from Hamilton is the only flat road that you can come up and then turn flat to get up to my street. So I agree with them, I think it should say two-way. I think if you're coming up from the Grafton Street side, we're all gonna be going up hills and rolling back into Grafton Street, which is super dangerous. So I just wanna back them up on this point.
Thank you. Name and address?
Hi, my name is Sheila Crotty. I live at 57 Standish Street, which is that section of Standish that goes from Bedford to Grafton Street. I'm at the crest of the hill. I just want you to know, though you won't believe this, I have lived there for 55 years. So I have a lot of experience with the street. It just happens that as my neighbor, Robin, who just spoke, we live next to each other. At 57, my front stairs are at the crest of the hill. There's no elaboration on whether or not one-way Standish will be north or south, but because of the configuration of the streets before, it seems to me that if it was to happen, it would be made south. So let me just explain something to you. I have been living there long enough to see not only accidents at the foot of the hill onto Grafton Street, but also fatalities, pedestrian. It's a very dangerous, and you may not realize why, because people coming down 122 North Grafton Street from Lamar to Standish is a curve. Cars, we know speed anyway, but they don't, as they round the curve, see that we are backed up if you make it a one-way and are forced to take a left or a right onto Grafton Street. Understand one thing. Myself and many of my neighbors take great care never to go down to the foot of Standish to Grafton Street because of the danger. I always go up to Hamilton Street to get to where I need to get. The other thought in my mind is, if you were to make that street one way so that people are forced to, if it's south, come down to the foot of the hill and take a right, it's going to back up Rice Square, incredibly. The other part of this is winter. If it is a situation where it's one way going south, then cars are going to be traveling down to the foot of the hill on Grafton Street. They're not going to realize it. I've lived there long enough to see this, that when they, even though there's a speed bump at 55, about there, because I'm 57, cars still speed, but they don't realize that this is a hill. It's not just a small, it's a situation where then they say, oops, snow, ice, break it, skid all the way down. If it was made one way going north, I've lived there long enough for winters to tell you this, 2 out of 5 cars cannot make it up that small crest of the hill. They're forced, it's happened to me backing out of I have a garage there, so just as Robin is suggesting, trying to get out of that garage is another, but I've had it happen to me because I didn't have winter tires, which I have all the time, because I had all-season tires when I bought this car before I got winter tires. I pulled out, tried to go up, and I couldn't get up that hill. I had to back down, and fortunately was able to skid into my neighbor's driveway across the street. So I guess I'm here to just implore you not to, the other thought in my mind is all those streets before me, Ingleside, Fairmont, Pilgrim, Puritan, that have been made one way, they're flat mostly from Grafton Street to Hamilton Street. My street, Standish, going south up to Delmont, Farah, Dana, so on, those are all hills. So that's another reason why I would suggest that you won't start to make these streets one way. Other than that, as far as I'm concerned, I love living where I am, and I just don't want to see this become very, very dangerous, because it will be very dangerous. Speed bump, yes. Speed bump's great, to put a speed bump up near Hamilton. We have 2 speed bumps in my area, but I can tell you this, people still go over the speed bumps and just gun it. So, that's another problem.
Thank you.
Better anything. But anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen to me, and I vote. I hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and residence, please. Yeah.
Good evening. My name is Michael Pedone. I live at 92 Standish. I feel like the old man on the street, all these people 10, 15 years. Well, welcome to the neighborhood. Obviously living there all of my life, really. And I drive up and down the street a lot. And I've never, ever in my mind say, gee, this would be great if this was one way. I don't see any need for it. Do we have our issues, like probably many streets, with speed, obviously. I like to stand out in front of my house and yell out 25, And the intersection at Grafton and Standish, it's not good. We've known that my whole life. But that's not an issue with Standish Street as much as it is with Grafton Street. And one way, either way, is really going to be, at best, an inconvenience. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind putting up with a little inconvenience for something productive, something that's going to benefit the neighborhood, but just to be a pain in the neck, no, it's not. So I'm asking you, please, let it roll the way it is. A speed bump, maybe. I like the speed bump deal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm Mike's neighbor. Also one of the potentially 7 people who ride a bike in the city of Worcester, as that man mentioned earlier. So I want to mirror every sentiment said prior to me. I don't see it being beneficial. I think there's plenty of room for both ways. Like I said, I'm on the southernmost part of Standish Street, so I have the opportunity to go on Massasoit or to go on Grafton Street. As Mike mentioned, turning or even crossing Standish, crossing Grafton Street to go from one end of Standish to the other is a nightmare. I'd like to know the rationale behind the petitioner's petition, but I would think that it would be better suited, I don't know, that money would be better suited putting a light there, a stop, anything, a crosswalk, anything to make that a safer intersection. I do not see this being I don't see this being helpful whatsoever, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Clerk Fan, is anybody online on this petition?
To the chair, we do have two people who are on Zoom currently. So the first speaker I can identify is David Kuroa. I would go ahead and give you permission to speak.
Hello. Yeah, David Kuroa, 46 Bedford Ave. I'm just going to echo what has been said about making Standish Street into a one-way. I'm opposed to that. We already have four-way stop signs for most of the street, and we also have permanent speed bumps, which I'd like to thank the Department of Transportation and Mobility for installing them. But I oppose making Standish Street into a one-way.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Thank you. The next person I can identify his phone number ending in 0133. You can press *6 to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, name and address, please.
Yes, I'm Rick Labatt. I live at 5 Standish Street. Just like a lot of the other people that spoke, I'm a longtime resident here. 24 years on Puritan Ave I was born on, and 38 years on Standish Street. So I know all the people's concerned. I've actually probably delivered newspapers to all of those homes as well. I'm hearing both sides of this argument, and there is a lot of truth to this. There's a lot of problems on Grafton Street. But one thing, I'm not either for or against this at this point. I'm just kind of listening. But I do want to make one point, and that's on the Hamilton Street side. There is a lot of accidents on Hamilton Street at that corner every year. I don't know what the statistics are. We could probably get police reports on that. If that is made a one-way, that would, if Standish Street is made a one-way, on the Hamilton Street side, right now there's 8 different combinations that the cars can navigate right there. That would cut it down to 4. So that would reduce some of the accidents there, no question about it. But I also understand some of the other arguments about the Hill, Grafton Street, the police and fire department as well too. So I just wanted to voice that concern. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilor Fasolo.
Mr. Chairman, through you, I agree with all the speakers. A perfect point here tonight is the petitioner's not even here to speak on it. So that's number one. And number two, I'd like to just inform everyone that lives in that area, there will be a speed bump coming this construction season on a portion of Standish Street near Hamilton Street. I believe it's in between Hamilton and Cohasset. So that's coming this construction season. Okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Rowley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be brief. You know, one of the things we are interested in is trying to understand the rationale behind the petition in that it is a fairly narrow street. It's 27 feet wide. We've talked about 27-foot wide streets earlier. But the parking utilization here isn't as high as on some other streets, and the traffic volume is relatively modest. So there's, you know, decent opportunities for two-way traffic to pass each other. I think if it were converted to one-way, there'd be a lot of unintended consequences, which we heard some of those from the petitioners today. So our recommendation is to file the item.
Received. So we're going to file the item. It's not going to be approved. You still want to speak?
I just had a clarification.
Go ahead. Come on up. Name.
Thank you. Teagan McEachran, 14 Standish Street, again. Sir, could you just repeat what you said about, did I mishear you, that there's construction coming to the Hamilton Street side? If you could elaborate on that?
No, I said there's going to be a speed bump installed closer to Hamilton Street, in between Hamilton and
We get 2.
Cohasset. No, just one is,
2 would be cool.
yeah, okay.
The other end of the street got 2 if we could get 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the chair, just to clarify, so there'll be 1 per block now. So the block that you're on will have a speed, so all 3 blocks will be treated with speed humps after the summer.
Thank you. We'll move to file the item. Roll call.
Counselor Bellotta? Counselor Bellotta?
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. All right, I'm just gonna go a little bit out of order here, just take care of a couple petitions. I know people are here for this. We're gonna start with 9A. Councilor Tony Economo, on behalf of the residents of Beachmont Street, requests white stop lines be painted at the existing stop signs at the intersection of Beachmont Street and Bancroft Towers Road. Anybody here on that item? Councilor Economo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is, the stop signs have been there a while now, and the stop bars have not been installed as of yet. So if they are going to be installed, is there a timeline?
Yeah, through the chair. So we'll paint those this summer.
Okay.
They should have stop bars. I think particularly on Beachmont, if you're not expecting that stop sign, that helps convey the information.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and therefore chair's preference if you want to approve an order asking for that or just file the item. But either way, we'll.
No, that's fine. You can file, if they're going to be done, we can just file them.
I just want to let the young lady speak over here.
There she is, right there.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Sheila Reed, 14 Beachmont Street. I have been living there for 61 years with my husband, and it pains me to see people going through stop signs. It's very, very bad. The problem, I think, is in part that the white lines that people expect to see are missing. The other part that's missing is police presence. If we have just one police car at the top of Bancroft Tower Road, where the intersection of Farnham is, once in a while when they're going home.
Reasonable time.
These people are frantic, or early morning rush hour, and just keep catching people, giving them tickets, and telling them, you've got to respect the law. That's all. That's all we're asking for. And what happens is, I live 3 houses down. I watch that with my neighbor, Kim Siborowski, and we see them slow down and go on, or just zip through. It's very disrespectful of the rules of this city. On the other side, I want to thank the city for 4 speed humps. The last time I testified here was 10 years ago about Beachmont Street, and since then, we are really happy. We are all happy on that street to have those speed humps. Finally, we have something to slow them down, but they've got to respect the law.
Thank you so much. We love happy residents.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, real quick.
Yes, go ahead, Councilor Carbo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say thank you to Mrs. Reedy for being here. I just want to say thank you for coming in today. I appreciate you coming down today, and I will put an order in for stop sign enforcement at Beachmont and the other street, Bancroft Tower Road.
Bancroft Tower Road.
You got it. Thank you.
So since the work is going to be, is there anybody online on this issue?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
No, talking to clerk. Do we have anybody online?
To there's no one raising their hands
All
on
right.
Zoom.
Commissioner Raleigh, anything? You good? Yeah. All right, so you guys say the work's going to be done, so he's going to file the item. Roll call.
Counselor Bellotta,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. We're going to 9B. Councilor Sacha B. Mitra requests installation of 3-way stop signage at the intersection of Chester Street and West Chester Street. Anybody here on that item? Councilor Mitra.
Thank you for taking this item. I think the resident around on the Westchester and Chester Street, they had requested me to put that stop sign there. If you look at that street there, Chester, going forward, there is a three-way stop sign. Commissioner can identify that. It is just before that, they wanted another three-way stop sign. I just noticed that there is a stop sign put in there now on the corner of Chester and Westchester, but don't have the other two. So the issue also there to think about is that it is a steep road, and in the winter, if you have a stop sign and people are going up and to stop, then the wheels start, kind of skidding over. So that may be an issue, but if the commissioner thinks that just putting that one stop sign will bring the safety, because people are concerned about when people, they're coming from Westchester, going towards the Chester Street and make a left turn at the Chester, then that it becomes a little bit difficult. They think that that could be accident prone. So they requested three-way stop sign, but I'll leave it to the commissioner, his judgment. If you think that it is safer, then I'd like to implement that.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So we did do a traffic engineering study on this intersection. So just as point of background, and this will apply to the next few items too. For any location where an all-way stop is requested, required by federal regulations to do an engineering study that looks at specific, what are called warrants, associated with the traffic volume and the crash history at that particular intersection. And in order to install all-way stop, we have to meet at a minimum one or more of those warrants. Otherwise, according to the federal regulations, we can't install an all-way stop there. So we did conduct this study at this location, and it does not meet the requirements for any of the warrants that are specified, including the traffic volumes or the crash history. So there have, and this is good news, there have been no reported crashes, or at least no recorded crashes at the intersection over the last 5 years. Two of the legs on Chester and Westchester have about 2,200 vehicles a day, which is modest but not inconsequential. The other leg, the southbound leg, has about 914, so pretty light volume on that leg. So from a traffic engineering standpoint, the stop sign just facing the one movement is the correct approach and the one that's consistent with the federal regulations. So our recommendation is to file the item. Now, I will say that we've noticed that the stop sign location is partially obscured. So that's something we should take a look at, is whether there's a better location for that existing stop sign, and whether it may make sense to extend that stop bar out a little further either, also so you can get a better view of the oncoming traffic. And we'll also take a look at whether there's any regulatory signage that could be established on Westchester to help inform people that the intersection is, that they're approaching the intersection. But in terms of an all-way stop, we do have to recommend file on that.
Receive. We'll move to file the item. Roll call.
To the chair, we do have one person raising the hands on Zoom.
Okay, please. Let's speak. Sorry.
To Speaker Elaine M., you can go ahead and unmute.
Thank you very much. With regard to this issue, I live in that neighborhood, and I noticed that part of the problem is that the traffic that comes down Westchester Street that continues on to that first leg of Chester comes down generally at a rapid rate of speed, and sometimes it's difficult to see them because of other things obscuring your view. So if there's no stop sign there, perhaps there could be another alternative, such as a speed bump further up the road there to slow that traffic down, because the traffic just goes way too fast on that area.
Intimidating a corporate lobbyist who actually was lobbying on
To
behalf
the
of
chair, we do have one more person raising their hands. To the next speaker, you can go ahead and unmute.
Name and residence, please.
To the chair, seems like they may have problems with unmuting. I will try again.
All right, in the meantime, we'll have Councilor Economo speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Commissioner Raleigh on this. And I just do want to let the person who's listening in, to let them know that we have discussed as well as for a speed bump on Westchester Street as funding allows. So as that comes up, it's certainly on my radar. I just want to let the caller know. Thank you.
Thank you. Is
To
the
the
caller
chair.
online able to get that?
I'm not sure.
Name and address, please.
Bridget Murphy, 10 Westport Road.
No, this is not the, this is a second, different item.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Oh,
What
okay.
what item are you on for?
I thought this was the one for 10 Westport Road, so I'll lower my
No.
hand until that.
Not yet.
Apologize.
No problem.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Councilor Mitra.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. I would go along with the Commissioner and Councilor Economo that a speed hump at least would be a good idea
All right,
as we
so-
go forward with it.
All right, we move to further item. Roll call.
Councilor Bellato,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. Move on to 9C. William Nguyen requests installation of a stop sign on Beaver Street at its intersection with Oliver Street and Florence Street. Anybody here on that item? Anybody online?
To the chair, there's no one raising their hand.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Mr. Chair, so we, this was an item that was continued from a prior meeting, just because we wanted to further evaluate the status of some street improvements that are planned here. And to complete the warrant analysis, we are able to warrant this based on the geometry and the sight lines at the intersection and the left turning volume. But the catch here is that the stop signs should not go in until those intersection improvements are made, because we're just concerned that people aren't going to actually follow it under the current configuration. What's going to happen is this intersection is going to get squared off and look more like a normal, four-way intersection. And at that point, then having the stop signs on the two approaches will make sense. So our recommendation is to approve, but pending the construction of related intersection alignment improvements.
Okay, so there's nobody online?
To the chair, there's no one raising their hands.
All right, so we move to approve the item. Roll call.
Councilor Bellato,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. We're going to move on to 9D. Councilor John Fasolo requests installation of four-way stop signs at the intersection of Delmont Avenue and Bedford Avenue. Councilor Fasolo.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Through you, I just want to explain to the people that are here and anybody listening in the general public. I was contacted by constituents on both D and E, this one here at the intersection of Delmont Ave and Bedford Ave, and also at Farah Ave and Bedford Ave. And that's why I filed the petitions. But since I filed the petitions, I have heard from both sides of the issue. So I just want to let people know it's up to them to voice their opinion on what they'd like there. And I think they'll be happy with what the Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner have come up with a solution, but I'll let them speak first, and then obviously after they're done, the Commissioner will explain what their thoughts are. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Nancy McAuliffe, and I have lived at 38 Bedford Ave for 72 years. I am here tonight because I care about this community, and I am asking the city to take a thoughtful and responsible look at the proposed four-way stop signs at Delmont Ave and Bedford Avenue. I understand that Worcester is growing. I understand we need housing and investment. My concern is making sure that growth happens safely and responsibly for everybody. When large developments are approved and established in neighborhoods, the city also has a responsibility to plan for what comes with that growth. That means considering traffic, parking, emergency access, pedestrian safety, school traffic, winter conditions, and the daily quality of life of the residents who live there. I have lived through the construction and the changes in this area. I have seen the buildings go up, and I have seen how traffic patterns, pedestrian safety, vehicle safety, and everyday life in this neighborhood have changed. As our neighborhood continues to grow, I believe those impacts should be studied before problems developed, not after. Delmont Ave and Bedford Avenue are now part of a much busier corridor. There's so many new residential units built and proposed nearby, it is only natural that more people will use these streets to reach their homes, schools, businesses, and major roads. That is why I keep asking one simple question: where is the comprehensive traffic and safety analysis for this corridor? I understand that the city is looking into whether this type of study has been completed or is planned. If it has not, I respectfully ask that the qualified traffic and transportation professionals conduct one more permanent traffic change before traffic changes have been made. This intersection has unique challenges. It sits on two hills. During the winter, snowbanks reduce visibility. Plows already struggle with these conditions, and snow and ice make travel even more difficult. The taller buildings nearby now have also changed the sunlight patterns, which will affect how long the snow and ice remain after these storms. A four-way stop sign may be part of the solution, but it should be based on reliable data, professional traffic studies, and a complete understanding of the conditions throughout this corridor. Worcester is going to continue to grow, and with that growth comes a responsibility to plan carefully. I respectfully ask the city to look at Delmont Ave and Bedford Avenue as part of a larger RG5 corridor and evaluate the cumulative impacts of the development on traffic, safety, infrastructure, and residents' daily quality of life. I have lived there for 72 years. I love my neighborhood, and I want to see Worcester continue to grow and succeed. I am simply asking that the needs of the community and the safety and quality of life of the residents you represent remain at the center of this decisions. Thank you very much. And I would also request that a traffic study be made.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak on this item? Name and address, please.
Kristen McAuliffe. I have not lived there 72 years. Alrighty, thank you for having us this evening. I want to begin by saying that I also love seeing Worcester continue to grow and evolve. It's a really special place, and especially this past weekend, the weather is beautiful, and I saw families enjoying the beautiful weather, Holmes Field, having picnics, walking with baby strollers, spending time with their dogs, enjoying our parks, World Cup. Awesome. These moments represent what makes Worcester special, and they show families and neighbors coming together across our limited green spaces, enjoying everything our city has to offer. But they also remind us that growing and active communities need safe ways for everyone to move through it. Families and children on strollers and pets crossing streets across these spaces, while vehicles, buses, delivery vehicles, motorcycles, bicycles are all sharing the same roads. This highlights the importance of careful consideration of pedestrian and roadway safety, especially near Plantation Street, Hamilton Street, Lake Avenue, and especially we discussed this evening, Grafton Street. I do not believe a four-way stop is the larger issue. The larger issue is whether the city is evaluating the cumulative transportation impacts of significant growth throughout this area and making decisions based on complete information. A four-way stop may ultimately be the right solution, but it cannot simply be the only response after development has already changed traffic patterns and residents are focused and forced to raise concerns like they have this evening throughout District 3. Our neighborhoods are experiencing significant growth. Large residential developments have been built and are being built, and addition developments are occurring throughout Franklin Street, Grafton Street, Plantation Street, and Hamilton Street. More than 2,000 additional units are a part of the growth of this corridor. Residents and community members do not experience development one project at a time. They experience the combined impacts of the same roads, intersections, sidewalks, schools, bus routes, and emergency response systems and neighborhood streets. Individual project traffic studies are not enough. A study for one development evaluates one project. It does not evaluate the cumulative impact of multiple developments occurring throughout the same connected transportation network. Before approving further density and reducing parking requirements in the city, I would like to ask for more traffic studies in the District 3 area. I want to connect this issue to the upcoming parking requirements and limitations being lifted. Before voting to reduce parking requirements, it makes sense that the city should have two complementary studies. A comprehensive parking and development impact analysis. This should evaluate the impacts of changing parking requirements and traffic, including current and projected parking demand, resident transportation needs, potential spillover parking impacts, and how these changes may influence future development patterns. Second, a comprehensive corridor-wide transportation impact analysis. This should evaluate whether the transportation network can safely support increased density and continued growth in District 3. These studies answer different questions. A parking analysis evaluates a policy change and if it makes sense. A transportation analysis evaluates the real-world impacts of that change. Both are necessary for councilors to make full informed decisions when it comes to development and traffic and infrastructure. These are not questions about whether Worcester should grow. These are questions about how Worcester can grow responsibly. Everyone wants Worcester to succeed. We want families to enjoy our parks and roadways safely. But successful growth requires more than approving new buildings, units, and new inspection vehicles. It requires making sure transportation, safety, and infrastructure grow with the community beforehand and simultaneously, not after buildings and development occur. The question should not be how we react, like we are to this evening, after concerns arise. The question should be how we plan responsibly before they do. I respectfully ask the committee to support a process where transportation and development decisions are guided by engineering data, professional analysis, and complete understanding of the conditions residents experience every day, especially in District 3.
Thank you. I think that's next. Yeah. Commissioner Raleigh.
Mr. Chair, thank you. So I'm going to focus back on the
Yeah.
matter that is before us, which is
Sure.
just the stop signs. There's a lot of, a lot of impassioned points that are made tonight, but the item that's before us is the operations at the intersection. So we did conduct the engineering study at the intersection. As I described earlier, the installation of a four-way stop does not meet the federal requirements for the installation of those traffic control devices based on the amount of traffic that is experienced out there as well as the crash history. What we did notice is that the current stop signs facing Bedford Avenue do not have painted stop bars, and they should. And the two crashes that have occurred at this intersection over the last 5 years both involved drivers who had run the stop signs. So something to improve the visibility and awareness of those stop signs is warranted. So again, we recommend file on the item because it doesn't meet the federal requirements for installation of all-way stop, but we
Put the chairman's order.
we do intend to paint stop bars
Sure.
for the existing two stop signs.
Perfect. Councilor Fasolo.
Very quickly, Mr. Chairman, through you to the commissioner, could you explain what a stop bar is, please? So the
Yeah, so
residents
that does, through the chair. So a stop bar is the white painted line on the pavement that's placed next to the stop sign to help increase awareness as a driver's approaching the intersection.
All right, so we're going to file the item. We're going to roll call
To
to
the
file
chair,
the
do you have
item.
two people raising their hands on Zoom?
Oh, sorry. I
Yeah,
jumped
to
the gun again. Please, let's go to
first
the...
speaker, David Kuroa. You can go ahead and mute now.
Well, it seems like the item has been filed, it's going to be filed, but I'm just calling in support of a four-way stop sign. I live on 46 Bedford Avenue. Both Delmont and Fair are cut-throughs to Hamilton Street and Grafton Street, and both my wife and I walk the neighborhood. We see kids playing out in the neighborhood. We see people walking their dogs in the neighborhood, and people just speed ridiculously. They think it's NASCAR driving from Hamilton Street to Grafton Street. Like, they just go really fast. And there is precedent where Standish Street and Bedford Avenue has a four-way stop sign. I don't understand why there can't be a four-way stop sign on Delmont and Bedford and Fair and Bedford. But it's just, we're thinking about traffic calming measures. People cut through these streets. And so, yeah, that's why I'm in favor of it.
Okay, and the next speaker can identify as Laura Winslow. You can go ahead and mute now.
Hi, good evening. My name is Laura Winslow. I reside at 46 Bedford Avenue. And I also just wanted to speak in support of traffic calming measures for Delmont and Fair. It does, in addition to painting stop sign bars there, it would be greatly appreciated if there's any other sort of measures that can be implemented to slow cars there. As was noted, people drive very fast on the streets. There's going to be an increasing amount of traffic on the streets, and also the hills there are blind spots. As you drive both up and down the hills, you cannot see over the crests, and the cars that drive really quickly do not always pause long enough to tell what pedestrians are there on the streets. And they will continue very quickly, both in summer and winter time, and it creates dangerous conditions for the people who are living and walking around that area. So again, I understand that the lines will be painted, but if there are any other measures that could be implemented in addition to that, that would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Before we do roll call to further item, I'm going to do a chairman's order requesting that stop bars be painted at the existing stop signs facing Bedford Avenue. And roll call to further item.
Councilor Bellotta,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right. 9E, Councilor John P. Fazolo requests installation of four-way stop signs at the intersection of Farrar Avenue and Bedford Avenue. Councilor Fazolo? No, fine. All right. Name and address? Name and residence? Okay.
Hello.
Name and
Good
residence,
evening.
please?
Yep, Tony Smith, 115 Farrar Ave. Good to see you. Good to see you again. I'm here with support of my neighbor who's across the street. She brought to my attention, they talked about putting a four-way on Farrar and Bedford. What makes it pretty dangerous for a four-way is the hill. I drive a Expedition. My wife drives a car. I go out when it's snow, light snow, heavy snow, and I test the hills for her. Being able to come back up there with a little snow, sometimes after the snow has melted a couple days, it becomes ice. So it makes it difficult for her to drive up that hill. She can't come up through Grafton Street because that hill is even steeper. So I'm just not in favor of having a four-way sign there because it just becomes very icy, very slippery, and very dangerous. I know my neighbor here has a little bit more information to give you than I have. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your time.
Hi, I'm Janet E. Toronto. I live
You
on
can bring the
Farrar.
mic down.
I
There
live
you
on
go.
Farrar Ave. So I have lived there with my family since 1980. That is many winters trying to get up and down that hill. We have an SUV. We have a regular car. Right now, I have not really seen accidents. I played there as a kid, rode my bike there as a kid, whatever. You need momentum to get up the hill. Grafton Street, as we've said in this whole meeting, is very dangerous. If you slide down, you go right to the main street, you're gonna get crashed. So our safer option is coming Hamilton. You can come Standish Flat. You have options to get up safely up Delmont or Farrar and build momentum. If you put stop signs here, now we will probably be rolling back down the street. There's way more cars, there's way more people living on these streets now. Sometimes I can barely get up and down as it is. No snow with cars on both sides because there's more families, more people. So now if you add in stop signs, this is like not something that's just like an opinion. This is like physics. If you're going downhill, gravity's gonna pull you, your car is gonna go faster. You're going uphill, Gravity's gonna pull you, your brakes are gonna, like your tires are gonna spin. This has to do with like friction, all those things. So I think this is a really bad idea. I think it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're bringing a problem. When you're coming up where the 2 stop signs are as it is, if you're coming from Dana to Bedford and you take that left, it is so hard in snow and ice, you spin. We also have people, I myself has a mother that has to get to dialysis. That means I do not have an option. I have to drive up and down that hill 3 times a week in the winter. It is a life or death thing. The person across from me, his father is handicapped as well, as you'll see from the handicap signs there. So for us, this is like not a joke. This isn't like whatever. Now, I don't think it's fair for us to get punished because people that probably take this street once or twice because a MapQuest told them to do it are speeding up and down this hill or supposedly speeding up and down it. If people are feeling concerned about that, I don't know if someone's child got hurt, a dog got hurt, whatever, we're willing to say, like, if you want to put some kind of temporary sign, like a slow down or something at the top to help slow people down during the summer, fine. But in the winter, I do not think we should have permanent. I think this is going to cause more accidents. And also, if we start having accidents, the insurance companies aren't going to care that there was like snow and ice, and then we're going to be the ones paying crazy high premiums. So that is my thoughts on this. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Do we have anybody online?
To the chair, do have one person raising their hands on Zoom. To Speaker Ashley, you can go ahead and unmute now. Hello? To the chair, I can see that the oh, hello.
Hi, my name is Christopher Levitt. I live at the corner of Bedford and Farrar Avenue at 48 Bedford. I think that the pure safety concern is exactly the opposite of what the other woman was saying. I'm concerned for my child. I'm concerned for the pedestrians that use the cross streets for switching bus routes. I think a stop sign is a valid point and would greatly add safety to the neighborhood. Farrar is the only street in the neighborhood that has no stop signs regarding it, and that is known to a lot of people, and they use it as a shortcut between Hamilton and Grafton Street and the opposite. And when they're going from Grafton Street to Hamilton Street, the pure blind spot at the top of the hill and the speed increase due to that hill is greatly misused, to say the least. They use it through all hours of the night as a pass-through, and I think due to that concern alone, that the safety is very necessary to put a four-way stop sign there. I'm more than willing to put a slow-down sign or whatever on the top of the hill. I thought that was a great idea, but I think a stop sign there is extremely necessary for the safety of both motorists and pedestrians in the neighborhood. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, can I speak one more time then on this? So I did some searches and it says like right here, yes, stopping on an icy hill slope is one of the quickest ways to cause a skid. Gravity pulls the car down while braking removes tire traction, instantly breaking your grip on locking wheels. Same with this. Winter has higher accidents than summer as far as like ice inclines cause frequent loss of traction, leading to sliding backwards, multiple vehicle pileups, severe property damage. So if you want to look at just a simple Google search of hills, rolling back, ice conditions, it has to do with literally physics, traction, gravity. So yeah, you can put a stop sign, but if ice and snow are happening and your car slids, even if you're trying to stop, it's not going to matter. It's just physics. So I'm not opposed to, once again, if someone has children, trying to slow things down, but you can't fight physics unless you guys are going to flatten this hill. You live on Grafton Hill. Thank you.
Commissioner Raleigh.
To the chair, my apologies, we have one more person raising their hands.
Okay.
To Speaker David Coroa, you can go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, just calling
spoke on
in. Hello, David Crow, 46 Bedford Ave. Just calling in again in favor of a four-way stop sign for this. I think it's already been said. I like the idea of a slow down sign at the top of the hill, or even if there needs to be a speed bump, maybe we can have a temporary speed bump on Fair Ave. It's just people just fly down this street as Christopher said, there is no stop signs on Farrer. All the other parallel streets have some sort of stop signs. People just fly down, and it's really talking about safety throughout all time, all seasons, winter and summer. People just fly down. They don't care. They just want to get to Hamilton Street, or they want to get to rushing over to Grafton Street. We've crossed that street plenty of times. We've seen so many cars flying down that road. But if we can get something, if it's a slow down sign, speed bumps, or I think this stop sign makes sense. Yeah, and so that's what I'm calling about. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Fasolo.
Mr. Chairman, through you very quickly, I will put in a petition for a sign to slow down, slow down on the sign, or whatever the phrase would be, to add to that, okay, as people have requested. So I will file a petition.
Thank you. Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, and I'm just going to offer to Councilor Fasolo, we'll work with you in figuring out what the appropriate type of petition to put in is. Some of the sign types that were previously allowed are no longer allowed under the MUTCD, so we'll just want to touch base on that. Just like the last petition, we were hearing concerns about safety on the streets, and that's always a case when you have you start to see traffic cutting through between the major corridors on a residential street. Really, what we need to do in those circumstances is look at actual traffic calming measures, and stop signs are specifically cited as not being traffic calming measures in the federal regulations. So, both of these streets would be not something we can decide today. There needs to be different types of analysis done for it, and there would need to be a petition, but both of these streets could potentially be candidates for speed humps if we can find locations that are flat enough. We can't place speed humps on grades that are over about 8%, so that's something to keep in mind, but that's a traffic calming tool that has proven effective on other similar streets. In the case of this specific petition, same engineering study, same analysis. And again, the traffic volumes and the crash history don't meet any of the warrants that are specified in the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which outlines the requirements for establishing an always stop. Traffic volumes are relatively low. They may feel high for the context, which is a local residential street, but they aren't high enough to warrant the always stop based on that. Sight distance was adequate. And in terms of the crash history, there have been no reported crashes at this location in the last 5 years. So for those reasons, we have to recommend file on the always stop. One other thing I did want to mention, though, just in general, when we do these evaluations, if we get to a point where always stop or a stop sign in general does meet the warrants, then we do look at other factors like grades and those kinds of things to make sure that it can get safely installed at those locations. So just wanted to assure people that there's a number of steps that take place in these evaluations.
Councilor Fasolo.
Commissioner, thank you for mentioning that, because I know you have gone through quite a bit of thoughts and investigating that area before you make a decision. So I'm glad that you told the general public that you have did your due diligence on these two intersections. Mr. Chairman, just very quickly, through you, Delmont Ave, I have filed a petition for a speed bump, and it will go in next year. You can't have it the same construction season, but I have filed that. And just so people know, it as the chairman, the commissioner said, it has to go on a flat part of the road. So it's going to be somewhere in between Grafton and Bedford. And when they go out and find the right place to put that, the surface is flat enough, that's where it will go. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We're going to move to, before we move to file the item, roll call, I'm going to do a chair's order requesting that the stop bars painted at the existing stop signs facing Bedford Avenue, and the roll call to file the item.
Councilor Bellotta,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right, real quick, I'm going to move to 8A, school zone petitions. Councilor Sacha Mitra on behalf of Kylie Hess requests installation of school safety zone signage in the vicinity of Thorndike Road School, located at 30 Thorndike Road, including but not limited to signage indicating appropriate and inappropriate locations for vehicles to turn onto the road. Name and residence, please.
My name is Callie Hess, 28 Christine Street. I'm the crossing guard for this area, so I've already studied all this. I've done the research. I told you guys last time that I was here, if it's predictable, it's preventable. I literally have a touch of the tism, guys. I know what's happening. I can tell you which car is coming when. I know who's coming where. I've become like, they call me, in that little community right there, they call me, like, it's Callie's Crossing. Like, I know who's there. So in my petition, I just requested that when you come down Thorndike Road, if you guys drive down there, you don't even know there's a school there. That school was built in 1952. So it was designed for, like, when we all used to walk to school, when it was just really a neighborhood, but now we've got buses. I've got a fireman on the corner that I work with, you know, like stuff like that. We've studied things. That street is a one-way, but to the point of Beverly. So then you've got everybody cutting across Burncoat Street, and then they're flying down Beverly. So, but there's no signs that it's a school zone at Beverly Road. Then, so part of it is, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a mess. There's like a little kind of rotary right there between Beverly, Thorndike, Monterey, and Bay State. It's supposed to be a rotary, but nobody knows that. Everybody does whatever the hell they want to do. Sorry, excuse my language. But it's like, I see it every day. So what I requested was, because we can't park on Thorndike because it's a one-way, our buses are loading in the fire lane. Not a good idea, right? So I've got everyone coming down to Beverly to park to pick up their kids. That way they're on the passenger side and I can load the kids. So that's why I was asking for the right-hand turn there, because the buses can't even swing that because you got everybody parked. Then you got people coming up this rotary. There's no even crosswalk. There was a neighbor that actually painted their own crosswalk on Monterey, which is totally illegal.
No good.
No good, but trying to get something done, you know?
Right.
My dad works for Mass DOT. I have an obsession with like traffic safety. It's a bad habit. I even went into the school just to teach these kids how to look for me before they cross, because you can't even see them. So with that right-hand turn, that's gonna stop all of that problem. Then you've got people on Monterey, so when you come down and you go, Thorndike just stops, and then all of a sudden you're coming up. You don't even know that it's a one-way until you're already on the one-way. So I was saying, if we made that all like it's supposed to be, come down Thorndike and make it all a one-way, because you got people coming up Thorndike, the buses. I literally had to help a bus driver navigate. I'm not supposed to do that. So then people take that, you take that left. You're not supposed to take that left. There should be a sign there, caution, two-way traffic, because you got people from Monterey coming, and then you got Thorndike. I have literally thrown children out of the way because they can't see me until it's too late. I've dressed up in an inflatable unicorn costume with that vest on. I've dressed up as like one of those green Gumby things. I've done everything to try. I even made a joke, like if they deputized a crossing guard, I could give tickets for these people that aren't doing the right thing. Because I do the same thing. I go to 311, you know, I try. I've literally made that whole area in my community, the man in the wheelchair, I've had to help him because people are coming down and he's got, Thorndike is tiny. It's tiny. It's not meant to be, like, I made a suggestion to the school. I don't know if you've ever seen Thorndike. They have no parking lot, so the teachers are parking there too. So I made the suggestion, you guys are even using this field back here, level it, make the cut around behind the school. They don't even use the field. Then we got a wrap around. Then that alleviates all the traffic there. I've had so many great ideas. I've had DTAM come out. If we put that stop sign there and then fix whatever the heck that rotary is, there was just an accident on Bay State, someone coming. Then if you guys did put the speed bumps in, thank you. You put the speed bumps in on the corner of Beverly and Wrexham, and I appreciate that very much because there's a family that lives there. They had someone crash into their house, literally into that house, because people are speeding. They don't know it's a school zone. They're trying to avoid that burnt coat mess. So they're coming down Wrexham, whipping through, and they go to take that left right up Thorndike. I've even got residents going up the wrong way just to avoid all the, They can't get out of their driveways because we've got 4 buses. If there was an accident, like if the fire truck can't even fit, it's a mess. I understand it. All the schools are going through it. We get that. But the stop sign and then fix whatever the heck that is. There is no signage. There is no cross. I've got kids coming down, but they have to go to Monterey. There's no crosswalk. So I literally they have to walk. You know, I'm like, don't do that, but I have to kind of stop traffic because I can't stop everybody from coming. It's become a 4-way intersection. I have to be on guard like all the time. If we put that no right-hand turn, we need really good, like on Beverly, like this is a school zone. You don't know. You just think that flashing light at the top of Thorndike, you think that's for the Burncoat traffic. No, we've got a school down here, you know? And then that whole mess, there are kids from school that are walking here. They're walking up Bay State and they have no way to get to the school. They have no way to get to me, so they have to cross on that random triangle thing that's there. So all we need is that, no, don't do that. And we need more proper signage. We need someone to come and look at it. That is supposed to be a rotary. I said make Thorndike the one-way all the way down, because those buses try to take that left-hand turn to go up Monterey, and there's cars parked over there, and it becomes, I'm like a superhero, like trying to predict what's gonna happen. It just needs help. I've tried. Like, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Councilor Mitra?
Mr. Chairman, I think Ali has explained everything. To me, safety is very important here. The school being there, I would request the commissioner to kind of take a look at the situation and do our best to bring the safety for our children, community, for all of us. So that's what we work for. That's what our main goal is. And it's very nice of her, even though I think, if I could say that she had a surgery, but she asked the doctor's permission to come here. I said it'll be nice if we could come. So it was nice of her to wait this long, and it was nice of you to go and ask her to put this forward. So, but thank you for coming, and I couldn't explain any better than she feels it. She stands there every day, and she sees the whole picture.
Yeah.
I think she gave us a great illustration. I like this. We take some good action, and Commissioner can help it out. Thank you.
Yeah, before I hand it over to Commissioner Raleigh, I was, Councilor Conlon, anything you want to say?
There's not much more to add. I think she hit the nail on the head, and I agree with Councilor Mitra as well.
All right. Anybody online?
To the chair, there's no one raising their hands.
Awesome. Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, and I was out at Thorndike, I want to say about a year ago, and it is, I mean, it's a really confusing street configuration on that far easterly end. So I think the right thing to do on this, got a lot of good information tonight, thank you for that. I think the thing to do is to hold this item so we can start to think about and brainstorm what are some potential improvements out here that can address this. All of the signage that's proper for what the existing regulations are it's out there, with the exception of the school zone signage, and that's going in this summer. We're installing school zone signage across the city this summer, so there'll be some improvements right away with that. But in terms of looking at the configuration of the streets at the end of the roadway and how those operate, I think it merits holding this, coming up with some specific proposals, because we will need to also inform the neighborhood about the impacts they might have on circulation through the,
The man in the wheelchair that was, the man in the wheelchair that was here, we call him the mayor of the Thorndike Road. We've studied it so much, so that's what I said would be probably a bigger issue, because there is a sign that is missing. So when you come down Thorndike, people are taking that left. There should be a caution two-way traffic sign, because people are taking the right on Monterey, and they're coming head on. All winter long, I had people coming head on at each other. It was a mess.
The good news is that you're going to have 2 great counselors working in the Department of Transportation.
Yeah, and I appreciate everything, you guys. I appreciate you listening. I tried to reach out to the school to get help, but that's a dead end. So I appreciate you guys coming, letting me be here and talk about it. It's like the kids are all I worry about.
Thank you. So we're going to move to hold the item roll call.
Councilor Bilada,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. What item are you here for?
Thank you, guys.
14B. That's perfect. That kills two birds with one stone. 14B. Huh? 12B, okay. Well, I'm doing right now 14B, right? We got Mayor Joseph Lampetti and Councilor Tony Economo on behalf of Louis Bourget. Request installation of additional truck banway restriction road-related signage on Mount Ave. Warning truck drivers, the road is not appropriate for tractor trailers. Name and address.
Good evening. I'm Lois Bourget, 62 Mount Ave. We have requested signs that indicate the truck drivers that are using their GPS to come up our road that it is no trucks. There's a 2.5-ton limit on that street, but the truck drivers follow their GPS and go up there. They've taken out the street sign 5 times so far this year, and 2 fire hydrants so far this year. If the signs are there legibly, so the truck drivers can see it, we also are requesting some on the bottom of Eames coming up Mount Ave, so the trailer trucks coming from the Polar factory, so there's no trucks, because people's yards are getting destroyed, cars are getting hit. So if we just get more signage, if we can't get the GPS changed.
That we can do. Thank you. Anything you want to say, sir?
Yes.
Yes, name and address, please. Yeah.
Yes, my name is John Sullivan, 54 Mount Avenue. I was hoping Todd would be here because Todd and I switched allegiances. I left this employee of the city of Worcester 8 years ago and went to Brookline, and he came here to Worcester. I've lived in this neighborhood all my life. Mount Ave is a little sliver of residence surrounded by industrial on all sides. If you look at the zoning map, you can see that there's literally just one sliver of residential property that includes Mount Ave, about half of the side streets in the Brook Street area. This issue is a result of some of the things that people were talking about earlier, is the economic development and the changes in the city that have occurred over the years. Rockdale Street, when I was growing up, used to go through all the way to Higgins Ave. And Brook Street went through until they put the movie theater down there, and they made a cul-de-sac so that the residents weren't getting inundated by all the traffic for the movie theater. When Eames Road got paved, that became the green light for folks to be able to cut through to that industrial park. And that we've played kind of whack-a-mole with the businesses down on Higgins and in that industrial park. Now we understand that the former theater complex is slated to be a trucking depot. It's just going to continue to add on. Every one of the trucks that comes up that street, either from Brook Street or from Eames Road and Higgins, says the same thing. Oh, GPS told me to come this way. GPS told me to come this way. They realize as soon as they get there, even though there are 5 signs down there, and Polar's been great neighbors, Velumoid Corporation have been great neighbors. They've put up signs on their buildings. The depot folks at Polar talk to their drivers and tell them they even switched what they actually had in that that facility so that it wasn't long distance truckers, that it was local truckers that were using that facility so that they would become familiar and not come that way. I'm not sure what the long-term fix is, but the signage, they just ignore it. There's signs there now, but they just ignore it. They have literally ran over the sign and taken out the end of Brook Street and Mount Avenue with their trucks. We had 2 now for some reason there are Amazon 18-wheelers with long-distance cabs that have gotten stuck at the corner of Brook Street and Mount Ave. 2 trucks got jammed in. Police were there for like 3 hours. We've had the police truck team up there. It's just ongoing. Whenever any of the businesses change down on Higgins Street, we see more traffic. And I'm really concerned that with the truck depot that's slated to go in where the former theater was, we came and tried to petition to get Brook Street open again at the movie theater when they they shut down the movie theater. That didn't happen. It's still a cul-de-sac there. They put new apartments down there. The traffic on Mount Avenue has increased 1,000-fold over the course of my lifetime. And so we're asking for, at the very least, I know we're having a tough time with the GPS folks to get them to designate it as a truck route. I don't know. I think there is, if I'm wrong, the commissioner can probably tell me, if the Federal Trade Commission limits what you can do to limit truck routes and make it so that it's not just a 2.5-ton limit, but no trucks. Is there any way for us to get it designated as no trucks? If there's no trucks, then we can petition the GPS companies to put that into their metric. So that's what we're kind of looking for. Thank you.
Councilor Economo?
Thank you. I don't have a lot to add. I think Mr. Sullivan hit the nail on the head. But I will say, it's in my opinion, it's not just at the bottom of Mount Ave and Ames. I feel that signage should be up sooner in the process before they even get to that location to understand that Mount Ave is not a truck route or is limited in size. As you know, I'm sure, Commissioner, Brook Street is relatively flat, and then you got a steep incline onto Mount Ave, which they cannot make that corner. That street sign, if I'm not mistaken, last week was down, if I saw it properly. And then you get the problem from the other side, from Higgins coming up the hill, banging a left, and that neighborhood is very tight as it is on a good day. So I would just amend to add additional signage prior to arriving to that point.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this, you described it better than I could. This is the last street that connects through the neighborhood, and that's why we're seeing this. The city does try to work with the GPS providers to help clarify routes that are suitable and not. Some cooperate more than others, frankly. And unfortunately, we do see trucks continuing to use this street even with the signage that has been in place. I know that sign gets hit all the time. Last time I looked at it, it was turned 90 degrees. Looks like it's directing you down the wrong street. We'll go out and take a look again at it in a comprehensive fashion in terms of additional signage further away from the corridor and what can be done to communicate to trucks earlier so that they still have choices to use other routes. Because I think that is necessary here. Once they get there, even if they see the sign, if they're already committed, they're gonna do it. So, and the street is physically just not suitable. So it's not just that it's a residential street. It's got steep grades on both Eames and Mount Ave. It's got the 90-degree turn that's required on two fairly narrow streets. So we do recommend approval of an order requesting installation of supplemental signage just to dissuade trucks from using Mount Ave.
Sounds good. Clerk Fan, you got that?
If I may, Mr. Chair, one of the things that we had looked at earlier when we were talking to the Polar Corporation, to the Commissioner's point, is to have signage on the exit ramp to Ararat Street. I know that requires Mass DOT approval, but to have signage at the exit ramp that says Higgins Street, access Higgins Street, go straight instead, so that they would go over that second access way all the way over to West Mountain, which is the proper way to get to that industrial park. Once they get there, they figure it out and they come back the other way. It's just, and it's amazing to me because if they get the right direction the first time and they come in through West Mountain Street to those industrial area, then they set it in their GPS and they come up through the neighborhood anyway. So it's kind of a catch-22. But one of the things to look at perhaps is signage at that exit ramp that says, continue straight to Higgins to the industrial park up there. So thank you.
Thank you.
To the chair, we do have one person raising their hands on Zoom. To speaker with phone number ending in 1340. You can go ahead and press *6 to unmute.
Hi, okay.
Yes.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak today. My name is Shannon, and I live on Mount Ave. And like my neighbors, I just wanted to come and speak to you in support of 14B. As Mr. Rowley is aware from the previous June meeting about the increased number of large trucks coming up Mount Ave, which has caused many issues on our street. As what was said, we do have a fairly narrow street, and with cars parking on either side, as well as the 90-degree turn to get from Brook Street to Mount Ave, it's impossible for these large trucks to come up here. And a lot of times they do try to attempt it and end up either damage to people's property, as well as, just blocking the entire street and having the street shut down. So I am in support, like my neighbors, to allow some sort of signage or work with Mass DOT or anything that is needed to be done in order to implement the signs or to prevent further trucks from entering Mount Ave. Excuse me.
Thank you. I move to approve the petition. Roll call.
Councilor Bellotta,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Tom. I'm gonna move real quick to 12B. Mr. Mike Roger requests installation of a traffic light at the intersection of Bigelow, Davis Parkway, and Lake Ave. Name and address.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Mike Roger, and thank you for sticking it out this late. Now I know why you all love doing this so much. I'm here to petition about intersection of Lake Ave and Hamilton Street, also known as Bigelow Davis Parkway. Unfortunately, I couldn't come up with enough data, enough crash history, just because I don't have access to all the information. I was able to go on MassDOT and collect some information, although limited, that I have here. But most of the information that I would want to get requires a specific dates and VIN number and names of people that were involved in crashes. So I couldn't get enough information that way. But basically, the traffic pattern has changed significantly in this area. The traffic has increased quite a bit. With the increase in number of employees and folks who visit UMass, as well as the new government agencies that are on the other end of Lake Ave on the south end in the plaza, there's quite a bit more traffic. Again, I don't have the traffic data, unfortunately, but I know you do. As you know, the intersection is it's a fairly large intersection. It's well-traveled. It's used by pedestrians, bicycles, motorized vehicles, and this is also a major bus route. I believe the city bus goes through once every 15 minutes in each direction. And lately, it's been feeling less and less safe with all the increased traffic. During the rush hour, between 7 to 9 a.m., and then again between roughly 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the afternoon, the traffic is significantly more, especially during the school season, when the fields are being used for games. There are also a number of clubs that have their members running in that area. I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not, but they have the running clubs that use that stretch of the street. During the especially during the school season, when the games are being played, people park up and down Hamilton Street on the hill, typically facing down. So if you're driving down on Hamilton Street, you are basically forced over the double yellow line onto the other side to bypass the parked cars. I'm not sure if there's probably enough parking for them on the other side. It's just more convenient for them. So that's an issue. But when you get to the bottom of the hill, if people are taking a left turn onto Lake Ave, it's not unusual for the traffic to back up halfway up the hill, closer to Coburn Ave. That's one part of the issue. There's also people that are turning onto Hamilton Street that need to navigate the incoming cars. And then there's a pedestrian. There are a good number of pedestrians in that area, as you know, during the summertime, all the way from spring actually until late fall. Visibility is kind of poor. If you're coming up the hill, you're always, especially this time of the year, you're always driving, well, not always, but you're driving into the sun for a couple of hours, especially during those peak rush hour afternoon traffic hours. And then if the road is being blocked on the other side, it kind of pushes the cars into each other. I know there's probably, you probably, I can't imagine that I'm the first one who's asked for a traffic sign in this area, but it's just a very difficult intersection, and I personally know of at least 3 people that have had major crashes in this intersection. I pulled up this little thing from Mass DOT. I don't know if you want to see it or not, but it shows about probably 6 to 8 crashes just from January of '23 until now. And that's just with the limited data that I was able to get. Each one of those dots are sitting on top of each other, but there's probably about 8 of them just in the past, 2.5 years or so. What I was hoping for, I didn't quite understand how this works. I apologize. I don't know if it's too late to amend this, or if I can just say my piece and let you folks run with it. Maybe the commission can come up with some ideas. But what I was hoping for was a traffic sign, a traffic signal, at the intersection, and something that would potentially turn red and green during the rush hour, and then just be like a blinking light during the rest of the time. I don't know if that's an option or not. And then hopefully a right turn only lane that extends about 100 feet or so. The least expensive way out of this would probably be to shift the sidewalk. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but if you could shift the sidewalk over by about 5 or 6 feet, you could create a second lane, a right turn only lane that would alleviate significant amount of traffic. And along with the traffic light, it would go greatly against preventing future issues. Because it's just a matter of time before somebody gets, my mother was actually she got T-boned in that intersection. One of my neighbors got got hit head-on in that intersection. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody online?
To the chair, I believe Councilor Bilotta is raising their hands,
Yep.
but there's no one else raising their hand.
Go ahead, Councilor Bilotta.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for this testimony. I think it really illustrates the need for a traffic light, a traffic signal there. I know DTM is working on it with, the TIP funding to do a type of rotary there, and I'm not opposed to a rotary, but what really concerns me is how much longer it's going to take to do that. I did submit a order last night just asking the DTM and the manager to kind of give a report on what the timelines are and status with this project. But I think Mike submitted a petition here. I know there's been several petitioners for a traffic light. I know I did it, I submitted it as well. So I think it's really important to put some type of traffic control down here. And I just worry that, waiting for a rotary is it's not going to be helpful, just only because of the amount of time it's going to take to get it done. So we'd just love to hear from DTM on what the plans are moving forward, and also, is it possible to work on a traffic signal? But I really do think a traffic signal is needed down there.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, through the chair. So as the counselor indicated, we actually have just started a project at this location. It is everything that the petitioner has said is accurate. It's a intersection that's difficult to navigate because of the volume of traffic and even more so the speed of traffic. Lake Avenue is a street where there's just people fly. There's some side issues when you have a lot of people parked there to use the park facilities and the athletic fields. It's really difficult to navigate as a pedestrian because the crosswalks are so long and there's really no sort of safe refuge for people. So we had identified that as well. I know Councilor Bellata's been concerned about it, as has Councilor Fasolo. And so therefore, we initiated a project through the Regional Transportation Improvement Program. For the first time, they're offering design money for these types of things. So we were successful in getting that funding. We've either just signed the consultant contract or it's in the process of getting signatures right now. So that project's going to get underway this summer. I'm going to give you a card with the website on it so you can follow it, because I know you'll want to participate when we have community meetings and that kind of thing. But just to clarify, that project will be looking at multiple options. So we're not only looking at a roundabout, and I think a roundabout is actually probably going to prove to be infeasible here because of the grade coming down from the hill. If it proves to be feasible, great. Those are very safe improvements. They actually have the highest safety benefit in most contexts. But there's a lot of constraints here, which may end up pushing us to a signalized intersection. That's another option that will be evaluated. They're both comparable in terms of cost and time frame for developing it, so there's not really an advantage one or the other. But that process is getting underway. You'll want to participate in that. In the meantime, there are some safety improvements at that intersection that have been coordinated with Councilor Bellata, so there'll be some lighted pedestrian crosswalk signs going in that general vicinity, both on Hamilton Street and on Lake Avenue, and those will be going in as soon as we receive the order. They're on order currently, so in a matter of just a few weeks. So there is some interim work that's being done, and then a project that'll be transformative that's just getting underway, and I know you'll want to participate when we start having community meetings for that. So I appreciate it.
So as you heard, you're a little ahead of schedule, but it's coming.
All right.
The chair, thank you to Commissioner Raleigh for clarifying that. I think that'll be really helpful for myself and other folks in the neighborhood to know that there are some other options, and that most likely, like you said, there are options to consider. So thank you.
So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna file this because there's more work to become, a lot of work, meetings, stuff, so.
And, sorry, but just before I leave, if I can just put in my 2 cents, about the rotary, I agree with you, it's not feasible just because of the hill, and also it doesn't solve the pedestrian issue in all directions. So hopefully an intersection. All right, thank you very much.
All right, move to file the item, roll call.
Councilor Bellata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
All right, we have nobody here, so we got somebody online. We're gonna go to 10E. Councilor Sacha Mitra, on behalf of the residents of Westport Road, requests installation of Go Slow children playing signage in the vicinity of 10 Westport Road. Is anybody online on that?
To your chair, there's one person raising their hands on Zoom.
Okay.
I will go ahead and recognize them now. You can go ahead and unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Bridget Murphy. I live at 10 Westport Road. I've been here about 3 years. I have a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a couple grandkids, and a lot of kids that are in the neighborhood. I'm requesting, take a look at, the speed down the road it's dangerous. The kids don't play in the road, but when they're riding their bikes or what have you, or balls go in the road, they're just going so fast. In addition to that, when they're walking to and from the bus stops, they have to cross the road because they can't just stay on the sidewalk, and the cars just go by so fast. So I don't know if a speed bump would warrant it, or just signs saying that kids are playing in the street or what have you, but I'm nervous, and I get nervous every time the kids are out there. Again, I'm out there with them, but there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood as well, and that is my concern.
Thank you. Nobody else online?
Chair, sorry, we do have one more person raising their
Okay.
hands.
Sure.
To Speaker Elaine M. Oh. Sorry, you may go ahead and unmute.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to second what Bridget said here. And particularly, I would like the council to draft some kind of a memorandum to the school bus committee, because the school buses go up and down this street so fast, and this is not a long street, from Jason Menard Way until Venus Drive is probably only 7 or 8 houses, and yet they pick up so much speed that it's just unbelievable. So something needs to be done to slow the traffic down. I've lived in this neighborhood in my house for 39 years, and I've never seen the traffic go as fast as it goes now.
Thank you, Elaine. Commissioner Raleigh?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So,
Just real quick, actually, let Councilor Mitra speak
yeah.
first, and then an item. Sorry.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for listening to the residents around there. And I lived on the same street, and I see that I've been there for 44 years, and my kids were born there and they're grown up. But I see so many children now. And in the summertime, they're also playing outside, basketball, running around, biking. Yes, as we have noticed in our entire city, that somehow people have been driving with a lot more speed than it used to be 44 years back. So I think it is again a matter of safety, bringing the safety for the children's sake, and maybe a speed hump could help us on Westport Road to slow traffic down, and also maybe along with the sign that says go slow, children playing. I know that Councilor Economo also probably attests to that, because it is his district, and it was my neighborhood, so that the residents had requested me to put some, so I'd like you also to support that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Raleigh.
yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, certainly hear what the residents and the council are saying about speeding in neighborhoods. It's something that we're hearing across the city, concerns with that. In terms of the signage itself, so all of the signs that have messages like go slow or children or those kinds of things are no longer allowed under the MUTCD, and the reason for that is that they were found to be ineffective. So any of the signs that are sort of non-specific like that, recognizing that there's children in neighborhoods all across the community, so it's not really conveying information that drivers then do much with. And the study showed that people weren't slowing down as a result of the signs. So those were pulled out of the manual, and we no longer install those because they're inconsistent with the federal regulations. You'll still see children's signs up around the city. We haven't gone around and taken the ones down that are there, but we haven't installed new ones for a long time for that reason. Now that doesn't help at all with solving the problem, of course. So looking at traffic calming devices is a good approach. Speed humps are the ones that we've been installing to date. These would probably be good candidates for that. That's something we could certainly study if there was a petition for that. There's also other devices which we haven't really applied here that we need to put a little bit of thought into, but things like small traffic circles at intersections can be helpful at slowing traffic as they travel through the intersections and yielding right away. So if there was interest in the neighborhood in pursuing something like that, one of the things you have to think about in those cases is, does it impact snow plowing, and are there ways to address that? So my recommendation regarding the signage is to file it, but my recommendation would be that we put some thought into what the appropriate traffic calming devices in this street might be. We can pull some speeds and do a speed study on it, both working with Councilor Mitra as well as the district councilor, and continue to look at the street.
Sounds good. Councilor Economo?
Mr. Chairman, would it be worth a chairman's order over to the school department to notify bus use, just to slow down as they're traversing through the neighborhood, just as a precursor to the school year beginning? I think that might be worthy of a chairman's order.
So chairman's order to the school department for the bus use for the.
That's right, to notify the Worcester Public School bus drivers to watch their speed as they're traversing through the neighborhood.
Sounds good. Did you get that, Clerk Fan?
To the chair, yes.
Awesome. Councilor Mitra?
Yeah, I would second that. I think since there is a concern about the speed of the school buses, and I see that, live there, so I recommend that, Chairman, if you could request the school department to take that into consideration to kind of alert the school, this bus drivers to be slow there.
Perfect.
And do I hear then, Mr. Commissioner, the alternate would be, if not the go slow children, what would be the other alternate? Do you want Mr. Economo, Council Economo, or myself to request for, put an order for speed hump or anything else that could bring the traffic be slower?
Through the chair, certainly if either of you, after talking to the residents, thought there was interest in speed humps, that would be a solution that would make sense to look at here, or alternate traffic calming options. To date, we've really relied on speed humps. That's the quickest, easiest, most effective thing to deploy, but there could be some other treatments too if there wasn't so much interest in speed humps and if the neighborhood wanted us to look at something else.
Thank you, we'll take care of that then. Thanks.
Thank you. So for the petition, we're gonna file roll call, and the chairman's order is already in place, right?
Yes, that's correct, through the
Perfect.
chair.
Alright.
Councilor Balata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna go to 10J, Councilor Tony Economo on behalf of, let me read that right. It's Juan Perez requests to stop one way and do not enter signage in the intersection of Pasadena Parkway and Tacoma Street be moved out of the bushes to a more visible location in the interest of public safety. Councilor Economo.
Thank you. Pretty much as it reads. When I went down there to check it out, the sign post was actually crooked and into the bushes. So I don't know if it's your responsibility or Public Works responsibility to straighten that out or get it back to light so it's visible.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So maintenance of the signs is Public Works responsibility. As the councilor noted, the bushes have basically swallowed up the signs on that corner, so they do need to be adjusted. We'll go ahead and enter work orders so that they can do that work. And I will take one more look too to see if this might be a location that warrants a supplemental sign on the other side of the street.
Yeah, thank you.
So we can take a look at that too.
Appreciate that. Just so I can let the resident know, rough timelines, do you have any idea?
Through the chair, I'll put the work order in tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm not sure where it'll end up on their queue.
I'll let them know that
Yeah.
the work order's been submitted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you taking care of it, or is this saying the chairman's order or something? This looks like.
Mr. Chair, your choice. You could either do an order or we could file it.
Well, I'm gonna file it and, yeah, you
I'd
guys,
file
you're ready on top of
I'd file it.
it. Okay, roll call?
Councilor Balata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. And then now moving on to 14A. Councilor Tony Economo on behalf of Bob McCauley requests installation of a truck manway restriction on Aurora Street that would augment where the state has restrictions in an effort to ensure truck manway restrictions limit can be enforced on the street. Councilor Economo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we had this discussion before, so I'm just going to I spoke with Mr. McCauley earlier today, and unfortunately he couldn't make it here tonight, so he wanted me to pass that along, that he could not be here, but he is still very interested in this item as it has created havoc along that section of Arad Street.
Thank you. Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, just to confirm, so this is the section of Ararat Street that's west of I-190. And we had heard this item previously. We held it because we actually discovered a discrepancy between our records and Mass DOT's records. Just as a point of background, Mass DOT has to approve all truck exclusions in the state. We were able to rectify that and confirm that the records are the correct location of the truck exclusion is as is sought here, which is between I-190 and Holden Street, essentially. or actually it's Brattle Street at that point. So we will be putting work orders in to get the proper signage up so that that can then be enforced moving forward.
If I may ask one more question.
Absolutely.
So with that signage, that would allow Worcester PD to do their job?
That's correct. So it's a official truck exclusion, so trucks over, I believe it's 2.5 tons, are excluded
Yeah,
from using
it's
it.
2.5 tons.
With the exception if there's a local delivery or
Yeah,
something, they can
right.
certainly use it.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Hey, I really appreciate you guys looking into that. Thank you.
Thank you. Move to approve the item. Roll call.
Counselor Bilada,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson's Counselor Rivera.
Yes. Council Ballard, I'm asking quick favors. Give me some quick second. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
Thank you.
Okay, we back in action? Good. All right, we're gonna go with 7A. Abdul Ghani requests installation of parking meters in front of 241 Lincoln Street. Anybody online?
To Chair, there's no one raising their hands.
Okay, Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this location actually had been changed to a 15-minute space, not all that, I guess August 1990, so quite some time ago. And I suspect it's because it's just such a short parking area. In the photo, you can see 2 vehicles there, but it's actually can only legally accommodate 1 vehicle. So it just doesn't make sense to put it on a parking meter. We would recommend keeping it at the 15 minutes. If the shop owner wants something a little longer, we could look at going to 30 minutes.
Okay.
But it doesn't make sense to bring it into that parking meter zone for 1 space. So we recommend file on this item, and we'll try to follow up and see if there's something else that might work for them.
All right, move to file the item. Roll call.
Counselor Bilada,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. 7B, Councilor Jose Rivera on behalf of Demi Niforos and Nia Niforos and Luis Ortiz, owners of Calamos Market, request installation of 30-minute parking on June Street from 116 June Street to 120 June Street. Anybody online?
To ensure there's no one raising their hands.
Commissioner Raleigh?
Mr. Chair, I did have the opportunity to speak a little bit with the owners on this petition, and we went down and evaluated it a little bit further. So there's 6 parking spaces on their side of the street, and they're currently 2-hour metered parking spaces. They had requested 30-minute spaces, and I do think that makes sense given the uses there, both their store as well as some of the other restaurants. There's a lot of delivery service there, some of which I may utilize myself fairly frequently. So there is a lot of demand for quick turnover in those spaces. At the same time, we do want to retain some of the 2-hour parking because, you know, if you're eating in a restaurant or
Sure.
spending some more time there, there's a need for that too. So our thought was, let's go ahead and approve converting the first 3 of those spaces into 30-minute parking. So that'll be right in front of their store down to the intersection. Those are the easiest to pull in and out of frequently. And those will be pulled out of the meter zone. So this will just be 30 minutes free parking.
Okay.
DTM has also been looking at whether the meter makes sense there, and we think it probably doesn't at this point. So I suspect we're also going to submit a separate petition proposing to take that meter zone away and just have 2-hour unmetered parking there. But that'll be a separate petition.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Therefore, we, nobody online, you said, right?
To ensure that's correct.
All right, we move to approve the item. Roll call.
Counselor Pilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. So now we're up to 10A, traffic sign petitions. Maureen Schwab, on behalf of the Green Island Residents Neighborhood Group, requests installation of additional one-way and do not enter signage on Canton Street at its intersection with Quinsigamond Avenue. Anybody online?
To ensure there's no one raising their hands.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so we did evaluate this location, and it has all of the proper signage that it's supposed to have. It has a one-way sign, it has do not enter signs on both sides of the roadway, and there's actually 2 no left turn signs as well, so there's not really any additional signage we can add here. Haven't done it yet, but we will follow up with WPD and see if they've had any reported issues with wrong way driving here, but it is signed to the fullest extent that the regulations say it should be.
Therefore, we're going to move to file the item. Roll call.
Counselor Pilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. 10B, Maureen Schwab, on behalf of the Green Island Residents Neighborhood Group, requests installation of one-way, no left turn signage on Canton Street in the vicinity of Crampton Park parking lot exit. Commissioner, anybody online?
To ensure there's no one raising their hands.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Mr. Chair, so same street, but now we're further back, kind of mid-block where the parking lot is, and here we suspect there may be a little bit of a problem, because as you exit that driveway, there's no signage that indicates to you that it's a one-way street, so we do recommend an order requesting installation of no left turn, one-way street signage at this location.
All right, I move to approve the item. Roll call.
Counselor Pilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. 10C, Maureen Schwab, on behalf of the Green Island Residents Neighborhood Group, requests installation of additional one-way and do not enter signage on Lafayette Street. Anybody online?
To ensure there's no one raising their hands.
Commissioner Raleigh.
So this is another situation where we have a one-way street, and there's a number of cross streets, and they don't actually have signage at those cross streets indicating that it's one-way and that you should not make the left turn. So we are recommending an order at all of these cross streets, or an order requesting that at all of these cross streets, the appropriate do not enter, no left or no right turn as the case may be, and one-way signage be added.
Sounds good. Approve. Roll call.
Counselor Pilata,
Yes.
Counselor Ojeda, and Chairperson Counselor Rivera.
Yes. 10D, Councilor Robert Bellata requests installation of a dead-end sign at the entrance of East Park Terrace. Councilor Balata.
As it reads.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Mr. Chair, we confirmed it is a dead end, and we recommend approval.
Approval roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. 10F, Councilor Morris Bergman requests installation of Go Slow children's signage on Kenwood Avenue.
Mr. Chair, so again, this is another case where it's a sign type that's not permitted anymore, so we recommend filing.
Got you. Move to file the item, roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. 10G, Patrick Grady requests installation of 93rd Street signage at the entrance of Assumption Ave on West Boylston Street. Anybody online?
To ensure there's no one online.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so this doesn't actually meet the definition for a not a through street sign. Even though it is a private street, it does provide through connections, so it's not eligible, so we recommend file.
File, roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. 10H, Patrick Grady requests installation of signage indicating Assumption Ave is a private road. Anybody online?
To ensure there's no one online at the moment.
Commissioner Raleigh.
We recommend approval.
Okay, approval roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. Right, 12, traffic, this would be 12A, traffic control signal petitions. Patrick Grady requests installation of left turn arrow traffic signals on West Boylston Street, southbound at its intersection with Loop Road. Anybody online for that?
To ensure there's no one online at the moment.
Commissioner Raleigh.
So this is at the entrance to Quinsigamond Community College. We did an evaluation in accordance with the US DOT guidelines for protected left turns, which evaluates both traffic volumes as well as gaps in oncoming traffic and the crash history as well. In this case, it did not meet those thresholds, indicating that a protected left turn was merited at the location. The other thing is that there isn't a dedicated left turn lane, so even if you do add the protected left arrow, it's of limited value because of the fact everyone's still in the same lane of traffic. So if they're not one of the first 2 or 3 cars at a red light, it doesn't really do anything. So we are recommending file on this item.
All right, move to file the item, roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. All right, moving on to 13A, Joseph Corazzini requests a traffic study be conducted on Southbury Street that tracks vehicles. Yeah. Anybody online?
To ensure there's no one online.
Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So we know the petitioner had submitted this petition a while ago. Never really got clarification on what they were looking for, but just for the interest of the committee, we did go ahead and pull traffic and speed data. And it's, I think it kind of tells us what we know about Salisbury Street, which is that out toward the Holden line, it's not super busy, but the speeds are really high out there. They're 33 to 41 miles an hour, depending on if you look at the average speed or 85th percentile speeds. Street gets much busier as you get down past Flag Street, up to 23,000 vehicles a day, so that's a significant amount of traffic. The speeds are a little bit better moderated there because of that, but they're still, 85th percentile speeds are still 33 miles per hour. And then as you get down to Forest, we actually see the traffic levels drop down because of that cut-through issue that we're having in the Montvale neighborhood. A lot of that traffic is peeling off and cutting through there. So just presented that for the information of the committee, but a recommendation on the item is to file it.
Yep. File, roll call.
Councilor Bilata,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes. To last 2 petitions, 15A, 15 Communications City Manager, 15A, transmitting informational communication relative to 2026 speed hump installations. Commissioner Raleigh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so this communication detailed the installations for this year, including both the temporary speed humps as well as the permanent speed humps. The permanent speed hump contract is being put together now, so now it's the new fiscal year. We have that funding. That'll go out later this summer, and those will be constructed before fall is over. So the permanent speed humps, of course, are only in during the summer and the fall until early November. The good news with the permanent speed humps is once they're in, they're in. So they're conveying that benefit year-round. And happy to answer any questions.
Yes, could the temporary speed humps, like, we don't have to wait, like, how was the time limit on that? 'Cause we're already gonna be in August.
Yeah, so most of them are in. At this point, we did have, Todd, maybe you could speak to this. We did have an issue with some of the new locations. Todd, I don't know if you...
Yeah, so there were 2 delays that took place. So the vast majority of the seasonal speed humps are already installed. There's, I think, about 7 locations that have not. There was, in order to ensure that motorists are well aware that they are there, we require the contractor to install the signs first,
Right.
and then install the speed humps afterwards. And we ran short of signs, so we're waiting for delivery on those. The other thing that caused the delay in the entire installation, we generally try to we generally want to install these in the beginning of May. Unfortunately, we have to wait until street sweeping is done. And DPW did not finish street sweeping due to their staffing levels until the beginning of June. So we cannot start installing these. So we're a month behind from when we normally try to installing these. But these, once they are in, they generally remain in until around November 15th, sometimes a little bit later, depending on weather predictions for the winter.
Councilor Balada, you have any questions?
No, I think it's a great report. I appreciate, the effort that DTM's been making over the years to get these out, and definitely has a good impact for our neighborhood. So thank you.
Thank you. And I think number 15B was transmitting informational communication relative to the Mobility Action Plan annual report.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so this was just a summary of the various activities that our department, as well as other related departments, had conducted over the course of the year and how they relate back to the Mobility Action Plan. Happy to, again, address any questions you might have. I'm not going to go into it too deep given the hour, but if there are sort of more detailed questions that either of the committee members would like, we could certainly come back and do that, or happy to file it too if there are no questions at this time.
Yeah, I think if you don't have any questions, Councilor Balada, I'm going to move to file 15A and B.
Absolutely, no problem.
All right, roll call.
Councilor Balada,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes, and we're done.
So, Chair, would you like to do a roll call to
Roll call,
adjourn?
please, yes.
Councilor Balada,
Yes.
Councilor Ojeda, and Chairperson Councilor Rivera.
Yes.
9:02.